College football is back, and what a way to kick off the 2025 campaign. Sacramento State, winners of 3 of the last 5 Big Sky Conference championships, have come to Brookings to take on the 3-time defending Missouri Valley Football Conference titleists, South Dakota State. Hi, friends. Tyler Merriam alongside the Hall of Famer Curtis Riggs. It's great to have you with us. And, Curtis, I mentioned the pedigree of these 2 programs, but let's be honest, these 2 teams, we have a lot more questions than we do answers.
Yeah, I mean, people are wondering about SDSU. Then you start to look into Sacramento State, and you think, oh, my gosh, they have an entire new roster.
We have 2 new head coaches. Let's start with South Dakota State and Dan Jackson. He was hired on New Year's Eve as the new leader of SDSU, and he had to not only hire an entire coaching staff, but also rebuild a roster in a short amount of time. But he says his knowledge of the Jackrabbits and the program made things as easy as possible.
Yeah, I've learned a lot about our team. They're close. They love each other. We're a family, brotherhood. Those aren't just phrases that we use. I mean, our guys display that every day. So I've learned we have a group that has a chip on their shoulder that's hungry and motivated. And the coolest thing about everything, I mean, people on the external think that this has been chaotic or hectic. It's been anything but. It's been busy, but it's been a lot of fun.
One of the reasons it's been so fun for Dan Jackson and his program is the fact that Chase Mason is back as the starting quarterback at SDSU, a young man you know a lot about, and he's eager to have his first starting opportunity.
Well, and he was the catalyst for keeping what was left of the players that were still here. Many left. He jumped in and said, hey, let's stay. Let's stay. We can have a great season. I'll be the leader.
And when it comes to Mason, he hasn't thrown a lot as a college quarterback, but man, can he run.
Well, he's just such a physical specimen, and he can throw. It's just he never really has had to, and we all see that power running. He's got to learn to run to play 4 complete quarters, though, too.
This will be the first time he has ever started an 11-man football game in his life, so a lot of eyes are on Chase Mason tonight for South Dakota State. We talk about all the turnover of the Jackrabbit roster. Let's make sure we get this right. 71 new players for Sacramento State, 34 FBS transfers.
Yeah, and you would think that's a shoo-in for an easy win, but these are really good players. I mean, they thought they were going FBS. That's what they were recruited to come here for. There's questions if they will, but you still have the players that are that caliber.
Well, it should be a lot of fun tonight as we get set for our season opener. Chase Mason and South Dakota State, and in Jaden Rashada and Sacramento State. The opener right around the corner from Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium, and we'll have it after this tip from Build Your Base. Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium for the season opener as we begin our 16th year of covering South Dakota State football here on Midcoast Sports. And you see the terrific turnout of Jackrabbit fans, over 20,000 for the concert, Jack's Bash 3 on Thursday, and now the great turnout here tonight. There's the 2 first-year head coaches, Dan Jackson on the right from South Dakota State, and Brennan Marion. How did he get the headset over the cowboy hat?
Yeah, he's obviously practiced that. I mean, that's definitely something that, hey, can I get on ESPN tonight? Well, I'm going to be a little bit different here. He's known for his offense, but now he's going to be known for the cowboy hat on the sideline, too.
Marion turned 38 last week. They actually had a celebration for him at practice, and he said by the time I got to it, the cake was gone. All that was left was some cookies. The kickoff is in the air, and we are underway with 2025 college football. It is returnable out across the 20-25, spinning his way out to the 28-yard line. Brendan Begeman, the Selby native, and it'll be South Dakota State with the football to begin things. Sacramento State won the toss and deferred. It is Jackrabbit football to open the campaign.
Yeah, you can tell Begeman wanted that one because he stepped right in front of Castaneda to get it. And I think coaches were probably wanting Castaneda to get that so Begeman could be blocking, being the guy in front.
So Begeman, the Selby native, for a 22-yard return on our first look at the Jackrabbit offense led by Chase Mason, the 5th-year student athlete out of Hurley, South Dakota. Mason has traveled a unique path. He originally went to Nebraska to play baseball, multiple torn ACLs, 2 years behind Mark Gronowski. Finally, his time to shine, an awkward snap. He evades pressure, rolling to the right, throws a bullet on the far sideline, and that is being ruled incomplete. Outside of the field of play is Lofted Ogroski trying to come up with that one.
Well, and right away you get a flavor of Chase Mason. You see the athleticism, how he jukes the DN in. You think he's going to be in trouble. Gets around him, no problem. And then you saw just the quick little whip. I mean, he flicked that ball out there, and it got there in a hurry.
Our Dakota Bank starting lineups for South Dakota State, a couple of pro prospects at the tackles in particular in Quentin Christensen and Sam Hagan. And that wide receiver core is incredibly deep. Julius Loffridge is the running back on 2nd and 10. He'll take the handoff. The transfer from Fordham with a nice move. Gets to the outside, and he is close to a first down. They're marking him just shy of the sticks. It's about a 9-yard gain to set up 3rd and 1. I thought he actually got further down the field.
Yeah, it looked like he did get across there, but Coach Jackson's got to be pleased right away. Watch the movement by the offensive line. When you see defensive linemen running sideways and not getting any penetration into the backfield, you're moving bodies, and it could be a long day for that front up for Sacramento State.
Diego Davis, the linebacker, knocked him out of bounds. So here is 3rd and 1. It'll be Mason under center. Ogroski in motion. It's a handoff straight up the middle. It's Andrew Gusted, who is a tight end who will line up as a fullback at times. And Gusted will pick up the first down. The junior out of Volin, South Dakota. They call him Goose, and he gets just enough to keep the drive going.
Yeah, I don't think anyone expected to see a fullback handoff. People thought that was maybe extinct, especially when you got a quarterback like Chase Mason. But I would expect later on you see more quarterback run there.
The Dakota Bank starting lineups for Sacramento State. They may have 5 men on the line a lot tonight with 3 tackles and a couple of edges, so they can do some different things as far as that defensive alignment is concerned. They show a blitz here. Mason takes the high snap, the hand to Loffridge, who breaks 1 tackle in the backfield, and he'll end up at around the 42 for about a 3-yard gain. Shane Willenbring, the redshirt freshman center, a couple of high snaps early on here to Mason.
Yeah, you can see Chase is really having to be ready right away. But the other thing you're saying is Sacramento State, I'm sure they're going to bring more pressure to try to help slow down that run game.
2nd down and 7. Jacks have 2 wide receivers tight to the left. Now they shift before the snap. Loffridge, the back to the left of Mason. Amid a blitz, he picked it up. Mason rolling out to the right. He'll run, and he can do that very well. 1st down and more as he runs out of bounds at the 48-yard line of Sacramento State. That's a gain of 10.
Yeah, and it's a different style than what fans are used to seeing. They're used to seeing him try to run somebody over. Look at how he just glides. Maybe the best highlight film I ever watched of a high school kid.
Mason, a quick throw to the left side, and diving after making the catch as he was stumbling, Graham Goring for a gain of about 2. But the Jacks have shown a few things here so far. The fullback dive on 3rd down and some up-tempo here offensively.
Yeah, and then you want to get some easy passes for him. You want to let him get some completion so then he feels a little more comfortable.
Mason, the 9AA Player of the Year at Viborg Hurley High School during his junior campaign. His mother, a college basketball player, just a phenomenal all-around athlete. He'll have 3 wides in the set. Blitz on again. Loffridge picks it up again. Mason will throw it deep right side. It is incomplete, but there is a flag. He was looking for Bullock, and Koa Akui had the coverage, the free safety out of Hawaii.
Yeah, they do a little stutter and go. Mason goes for the right guy. They bring a double A-gap blitz. So the first guy.
Pass interference. Defense, number 4. 15-yard previous spot. Automatic. 1st down.
Yeah, watch here, though. You don't see it. The first guy is taking on the running back. The second guy then is the one getting to Mason. He's the one that puts the hit on as Chase throws it there.
And Loffridge has picked up a couple of blitzers early on. He's really been tested in that regard.
That's never exciting for the running back, especially that A-gap blitz, because he's coming full speed straight ahead.
Loffridge behind Mason in a pistol. Early movement there, and they do not blow it dead, so Loffridge will run. I imagine he would have preferred that was blown dead, considering the swarm of Hornets that made the tackle after 1.5 yards.
Yeah, even the offensive line kind of stood there.
Offside. Defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. 1st down.
Sincere Massey, the 4th-year junior out of Fort Worth, Texas. His 4th different school. You'll see that a lot, particularly with Sacramento State. A lot of individuals who have led nomadic careers.
Yeah, you will. And we're going to talk about quite a few here today.
1 wide either side, double tights here on 1st and 5 at the Hornet 26. Loffridge, this is a reverse. It's Ogroski with Mason as a lead block inside the 10, down to the 2-yard line of Sacramento State. 29 yards on the reverse to the sophomore wideout from Coon Rapids, Minnesota.
Yeah, and bringing out a little trickery early.
16 for Sacramento State. Must go out for one play.
You can see the flow from Sacramento State, leaving no one even for Chase Mason to have to block.
Grayton Gannon, the Eagle, Wisconsin native, had one of the blocks downfield as well, the tight end, and he also had Pepke, the guard, leading the way.
Graham Goring did a nice job, but I would tell him, don't ever put your hands up like I'm not doing anything wrong, because that's the first thing they'll see.
Inside the Integra Cooperative red zone, the Jacks first and goal at the 2. High snap, Mason corrals, Loffridge takes the handoff, then he fumbled the football as he was going to the turf, and Sacramento State has it. It is Devin Wright, the left edge, a 6th-year senior out of South Haven, Mississippi, who comes up with the football.
Yeah, and that's going to be attributed to that high snap. You watch, it goes high, and then watch, he puts it high into the breadbasket, never really getting it, and then the penetration from the D-line creates chaos there for him.
Third time we have seen Mason really have to reach for a snap. That was the highest of them, and as you said, Loffridge never had it cleanly.
Yeah, and Loffridge has got his eyes immediately on the defense. He's trusting Chase to put that into the breadbasket there, and it never really got there.
So Brennan Marion, the creator of the go-go offense, which is a combination of an option running attack, power run game, but they'll do it a lot out of the shotgun, and they will test you vertically with the wide receivers. Rashada with 2 tailbacks. They are both to his right in Savion Red, number 0, and also Rodney Hammond Jr., number 2. From his own end zone, Rashada throws it to nobody on the far sideline as the receiver was at the 10-yard line, and the ball sailed out of bounds close to the 30.
Yeah, he thought the receiver was going to go. The receiver sat on the sideline.
It's an uncomfortable place to throw the football in the middle of your own end zone.
Yeah, and Rashada, there's not a lot to him. 183 pounds, but a very gifted player coming out of high school. We'll talk quite a bit about his history.
He was a 4-star recruit out of Pittsburgh, California, some 70 miles southwest of the Sacramento State campus. On second down, the give is to Rodney Hammond Jr., and he had nowhere to go. It was Reese Kirshenman, the 3rd-year sophomore out of T, South Dakota, who makes the tackle to set up 3rd and long.
And who the coaches could not stop raving about, just saying how dominant he's looked in fall camp.
Rashada started his collegiate career at Arizona State, made 3 starts in Tempe 2 seasons ago, was a member of the Georgia Bulldogs last year, did not play, a 3rd-year sophomore. And here he is tested in front of a sellout crowd with a 3rd down and long, standing in his own end zone. 2 backs, sidecar to it. Jacks rushed 4. Rashada going deep down the left sideline, and he overthrew his intended man, Damian McDaniel. They call him Jackpot, and he was open, but the Hornets go bust on 3rd and long.
He did have him, and it was a nice ball. But you can see the frustration in the huddle. Well, they don't huddle, but when he's telling the receivers, you saw the grimace on his face of having to tell the guys what they have to do.
So here is Cal McGuff, the senior out of Australia, 2 times all Big Sky. He actually can punt with either leg, and he is standing in the shadow of his own goalposts here to punt the football away. Jacks only rush 4. It's an end-over-end kick, returnable at midfield. And a gain of about 3 for Miles Taylor on the return. 48-yard punt, 3-yard return, and we have a timeout on the field. No score. The Jackrabbits and the Hornets in the 2025 Lid Lifter. Over the summer, tragedy struck the South Dakota State football program. Nate White, a young man out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, who had spent his first year and a half of his college tenure at the University of Wisconsin, transferred to SDSU in February. He passed away in his sleep due to natural causes. He has been memorialized by this Jackrabbit team with the helmet decal and also that sign that you see as the team exits the locker room. 15 of his family members are here, Curtis, to watch the game and support what would have been his teammates. And coaches are creatures of habit. They like to have a plan for everything. You can't plan for something like that.
No, you can't. It's a call you never want to get. You never want to deal with it. The only thing you can do is just try to bring the team closer together and talk about it. Talk about it. Make sure you get it out. Don't let that stuff just fester inside.
Jackrabbits take over at the 47 of the Hornets off the play fake. Mason goes down the left sideline. Catch made by Ogroski, and he is out of bounds inside the Hornet 5. They'll spot him at the 3. That's a gain of 44 yards, and the Jacks have first and goal.
Yeah, and great protection here. Watch, the pocket is perfect. Lockridge has a good pickup, and you see Mason's got his feet set, steps into that, perfect throw. Look at this. In stride, and a great gain there.
Goal to go for the Jacks at the 3. It is Mason who will keep off the fake to Lockridge, and he will not get back to the line of scrimmage. Brought down after a loss of 1. And Tavion McKenzie made the stop, the strong safety out of Stockton, California.
Yeah, and defended well. They did a nice job. They slant their D-line to take away the zone, and then they have a safety right there. McKenzie's waiting for Mason, expecting him to be the guy running.
Jackrabbits have John Pica, transfer from Dakota Wesleyan, an additional tight end in the game right now. He is a line tight end right, Gannon tight left. One wide either side, and the fullback Gustad to the left of Mason, who will keep, and he will not get back to the line of scrimmage. The Hornets blow the play up in the backfield yet again. That's Xavier Williams, one of the captains, who missed almost all of last season with a torn bicep.
Yeah, they're getting great movement in the trenches. It's just they're bringing so many guys off the edge. You can't account for those guys. State's going to have to look to do a little bit of play action pass early.
So here we are, 3rd and goal at the Hornet 4. Second time in the opening 7.5 minutes the Jacks have been inside the Sacramento State 5. They turned it over on their first trip. Ogroski motions to the right. Mason looks that way. And the pass is incomplete, intended for Alex Bullock, the grad transfer from Omaha, Nebraska, and the University of Nebraska. Ricky Lee III had the coverage, and the Jacks will settle for a field goal.
And it was good coverage. They're just playing man-to-man. They're saying our guy's better than yours, and SDSU wasn't able to beat them. They went 2 slants with the tight end shooting out quick. You could see Mason check the tight end, came back to that second slant route.
Eli Stater, an NAIA All-American at Northwestern of Iowa a year ago, didn't arrive at South Dakota State till halfway through camp this fall. Will try a 22-yard field goal. And his kick is good. And South Dakota State strikes first in the Precision Ag Bowl. Stater, the pride of Cedar Grove, Wisconsin, stakes South Dakota State to an early 3-0 advantage. Scoreboard, South Dakota State, the 3-0 lead over Sacramento State. We've played almost 7 minutes. The Hornets have had 3 offensive snaps.
Yeah, it's been dominated by SDSU so far, but they still only have 3 points. So sometimes you get a team that finally settles down. They realize, hey, the score's not out of hand here. We're right in this game.
Jackrabbits with 91 total yards to a -1 for Sacramento State, and 68 of those yards lofted Ogroski with 44 receiving and 24 rushing. As you see Brennan Marion, his head coaching debut in the Division I landscape. Young man who was an offensive coordinator the last 2 years at UNLV, the creator of the Go-Go offense. Came up with that in Waynesboro Area High School back in 2014.
They even have the self-promotion on the hats and the pullovers for their coaches.
Ryan Harrington, a freshman out of Ankeny, Iowa, will perform the kickoff for SDSU. And this will reach the checkerboard for a touchback.
Well, you know, one disappointing aspect for Coach Jackson, I mean, 2 times inside the 5-yard line and walking away with only a field goal out of those 2 times.
Yeah, missed opportunities can often come back to haunt you. No doubt Jackson thinking about that. Our Dakota Bank starting lineups for Sacramento State. This offensive line is the one unit. They have a lot of guys back from a year ago. Aiden Meek at right tackle may be the best. His 22nd consecutive start. They think he's an NFL caliber guy.
Yeah, but watching that first drive, SDSU really got after him. They will have to clean some stuff up. Otherwise, it could be a long night.
Rashada goes empty here. Jacks rush 4, and he'll sling it near side, and unable to make the sliding catch was Rodney Hammond Jr., the running back. Initially looked like he might have it, but then the call came in, it was incomplete.
Yeah, and quick, a twist by the defensive line. You see the pressure right away. Rashada's already starting to get back on that back foot, and you saw him double pump and then show a little frustration there at his receiver.
Dawson Ripperda, the Larchwood, Iowa native. one of the starting defensive ends that laid the hit on Jaden Rashada. So 2nd down and 10 for the Hornets. Savion Red, a senior out of Grand Prairie, Texas, to his right. Ball on the turf. Red somehow came up with it on the bounce and scrambled to only lose a yard. It is 3rd and 11. You get the sense this is the first game for both offenses.
Well, Rashada seems a little flustered. You know, we might see Williams sooner than expected. We do think he is going to play some today, but I think they want to get Rashada out there and actually see what he can do.
So 3rd and 11 for the Hornets as this sellout crowd trying to impact things for the Jackrabbit defense. Blitz is on. Rashada hangs tough, throws, and it's incomplete. It was in the hands of Jordan Williams, the 4th-year junior tight end out of Riverside, California, but it may have been tipped en route.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see that because it looked like a good throw there, a nice ball. You can see coach is just trying to say, settle down there. Okay, lead this offense. Good protection this time. Yeah, that's a catchable ball there. That's one you can't let it get into your body. You got to reach out those hands and get it.
Double signal. We're going in after the punt.
So some miscommunication here amid everybody, and now Sacramento State thought that we weren't going to go, and now we are going to go. Isaiah Garcia Castaneda is back to return the punt from Cal McGuff. McGuff 114 punts, a 42 average over his collegiate career. Again, twice all Big Sky the previous 2 years. Jacks do not come after it. Garcia Castaneda backs up to the 32, then he puts it on the turf. It is still loose. Sacramento State had an opportunity to pick it up. It couldn't. And now it's a rugby scrum inside the 25-yard line.
And these are the things you do when you let a team hang around. You don't finish drives. You make a mistake on special teams here. You got to answer quickly here now. Defense got to get back out and answer the call.
Recovered by Koa Akui, who had committed the pass interference on SDSU's first drive, and he comes up with the football. A sideline warning on Sacramento State, but the Hornets are not bothered at all by that. 2 Jackrabbit turnovers in the opening 8 minutes.
Well, and this one is just trying to make a big play when you should just fair catch. The defender was right there. He saw him. He just got his eyes down quick, and it was too late by that moment.
So the Hornets driving towards the south end zone where the student section and the pride of the Dakota's marching band hangs out. 2 backs to the left of Rashada. High snap. He corrals it. The handoff to Hammond Jr., who will spin his way inside the 20 to the 18-yard line.
Well, and you can see the best way to settle down a quarterback in the offense is be able to run the ball a little bit here.
Kobe Bretz came up to make the tackle from his safety position, the Nebraska transfer and 5th-year senior out of Omaha. So the Hornets looking at 2nd down and 5. Rashada fakes the handoff. Nothing doing, tries to run and gets gobbled up by Cullen McShane, the 4th-year junior linebacker out of Marquette, Iowa.
And what's impressive here, Tyler, is they go max protection. They only have 2 receivers in the route there. They want to make sure he's protected. Little play action pass, but nowhere to go with the ball.
Jackrabbits have been able to enforce their will on this Sacramento State offensive line so far. 3rd and 5. 2 wides either side. Jacks 4 down linemen. Rashada on the delay, and McShane lit up Hammond Jr. What a hit. Back-to-back stops by the young man Cullen McShane, who actually left the program last fall and came back a few weeks later amid the coaching change.
Yeah, McShane and Van Tol both are shooting off the edge. Dialed up blitz there, but frustration for Sacramento State, really getting a lot of opportunities here to stay in this game.
Here is Grant Metters, a 3rd-year sophomore out of Bakersfield, California. Spent his first 2 seasons at Oregon. He had 5 extra point attempts, made them all, never tried a collegiate field goal. This will be 36 yards. The kick is up. And it is good, and Sacramento State comes up with 3 after the turnover. So in a game you feel like the Jackrabbits have dominated, 2 turnovers have helped the Hornets stay tied at 3 early on.
On Midco Sports is presented by Sanford Health, the exclusive orthopedics and sports medicine provider of the Jackrabbits.
Willikers provides this look of the Missouri Valley Football Conference preseason poll. North Dakota State, South Dakota State at the top of the list. No surprise there. Bison were dominant today, but the Valley and the Big Sky, typically the class of the FCS, and we expect that again in 2025.
I would think so, and I think early on it's kind of hard to judge because a lot of the teams are playing FBS teams. You know, USD, it's difficult to tell, and some of the other teams. So I think that week 2, week 3 is when you really get a good assessment. So you go off of what they did last year.
Well, especially this season with so much roster turnover, like we talked about in this game. We're not going to really know much about these teams until we get 3, 4, 5 weeks into the year.
Yeah, you're right. And I think you're going to see more FBS teams really dominate FCS teams because all the better FCS players are moving up.
The kickoff en route. And Garcia Castaneda will bring it out. Out across the 20 to the 25. The Jackrabbits a year ago had 13 fumbles the entire year and lost 6 of them. They already have lost 2 fumbles in the opening quarter here tonight.
Yeah, and the worst is they're 2 for 2. I mean, they're not even getting on those. You don't want to fumble ever. You know, the goal always take care of the football. Right now it's just been we got to make a play, a little bit of carelessness with the snaps. I think they'll settle down here.
Mason with 3 wides. And Loffridge the back to his right. Sac State's been aggressive on defense. It blitzes again. Mason trying to run up the middle, and he does not make the line of scrimmage. Coming up with the stop for the Hornets. They've switched so many numbers, it's hard to tell for sure. That's Brogy Tagaloa, number 95.
Yeah, and SDSU is going to have some big plays, but Sacramento State's saying, we're going to make you make some mistakes, too. They're just going man-to-man, and they're bringing the house in Chase's face.
Tagaloa out of Pittsburgh, California, who spent 3 seasons at Nebraska, originally attended that school as a tight end. Jacks a 2nd and 12 at their own 23. Early movement, but he got back. Mason throws right side. Reception made by Grayton Gannon, the tight end, out to the 32. That's a gain of 9, 3rd and 3 for South Dakota State.
Yeah, good take, good rhythm pass. You see that quick snap. I mean, that baseball arm. He has such a live arm.
You can tell he was a baseball player.
Yeah.
3rd down and 3. Jacks have converted 1 of 2 so far on the night. Only 2 players down for Sac State. As they motion Bullock to the Jacks. 3 wides left. Blitz is on. Mason's pass caught by Bullock. It's a 1st down. He'll dive out close to the 40. Jalen Williams, the nickelback, makes the stop on Bullock, who is a detailed route runner and secures that ball nicely.
Yeah, and a great concept. The DB was sitting outside, and Bullock just curls back in. A great window for Mason to throw to him. Now they want to get Sacramento State set so they can't get all those blitzes and rotations.
So 1st and 10 from the 39. Here is Julius Loffridge running left, breaks 1 tackle, stays on his feet, and dives to the 43. Brought down after 4 by one of the Sac State team captains in Derek Houston, but Loffridge is a tough man to bring down.
Yeah, good at breaking that 1st tackle, but also good at getting skinny when he gets through there. You see right there, just about broke that 2nd one also.
Loffridge, 3,086 rushing yards in his career entering today, the most of any active running back in the FCS. And number 2 is on the other side of the field for Sacramento State and Jamar Curtis. So 2nd down and 6. Mason to throw, a pump fake and a late throw that could have been intercepted. It was intended for Goring and knocked away by Ricky Lee III, the transfer from Alabama Birmingham.
Yeah, and you'll see there was a hitch in his delivery. It looked like he maybe wanted to go to a slot receiver first, pulled back, and then had to go out to Goring. And by then it was too late. DB had broke on it.
So 3rd down and 6. Motioning the tight end Gannon. Hornets only come with 4. Power run left for Mason, who jumps a man and just about does pick up the first down. In fact, he did. They'll mark him at midfield, and Mason picks up 7. How about that little trickeration from the Jackrabbit offense with the power running game?
Yeah, and on third down, too, you're kind of expecting pass. You can see how that's a great play by Mason. Don't try to run through that guy. Avoid that big hit, and keep playing all 4 quarters here.
Offensive coordinator Eric Eidsness said, I did tell Chase Mason multiple times during the offseason, don't hurdle anybody, okay, now that you're the starter. 1st and 10 at midfield. Mason will give to Loffridge, who sees room to the left and spins his way to the 43-yard line. That's a 7-yard pickup. Loffridge on the day now with 20 yards on 5 attempts.
Yeah, and he started to build up there like he was going to take a hit when he probably could have just powered through that. You see he gets kind of turned sideways there. Pretty good blocking up front, though, by the SDSU offensive line.
2nd and short. It's Loffridge again, and he got stood up, and now there's the rugby scrum. The pile gets pushed to the 42-yard line. It'll be 3rd and short. We have not seen Loffridge, though, go down on the first touch yet today.
Yeah, he's got quick feet, too. Watch the little sidestep here, right there. But Sacramento State is committing, I think they have 9 guys in the box. Play action pass or something over the top eventually is going to be there. It's just get that in at the right moment, usually a first down situation.
Malik Tullis, the junior defensive lineman, made the stop, and now the Jacks, who are 3 of 4 on 3rd down, facing a 3rd and 2. Empty set here for Mason. Now Loffridge in motion. Mason will fake it to him, keep, and he will not pick up the first down. It's Davis who submarined in and made the play, the linebacker Diego Davis. And the Jacks have a decision here on 4th and 2.
Yeah, and Gannon, you can see Gannon misses this. He's supposed to get that, number 48 right there. He's got to come around a little bit tighter, have his head on a swivel, looking in to out rather than out to in.
So 4th down and 2 for South Dakota State. Loffridge to Mason's right. And Gannon, the motion man. Flag is down, free play. Mason hits Bullock, the wide receiver, for a first down as he dives to the 36-yard line. Koa Okui, the safety, had the stop. Looked like Chris Ross, the edge man, jumped early and gave the Jacks a free play.
Yeah, and sometimes as a coach, you just decide.
Offside. Defense, number 6. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is a first down.
You just decide, hey, the reason we're not playing well is because of our own mistakes. It's not them. We're better than them. We're going to go for this right now and put it on you guys, and that's what Coach Jackson did right there.
This is the 3rd time the Jacks have ventured inside Sacramento State territory. A fumble inside the 5 on the opening drive, a field goal on the 2nd drive, and they are on the move on that conversion. It will be 1st and 10 SDSU at the Hornets 36 when we come back. 1 quarter in the books in the season opener in front of a sellout crowd at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium, and the Jackson Hornets are all square at 3. South Dakota State with 130 yards of offense, 11 minutes of time of possession. Sacramento State only 3 yards, but it also has 3 points thanks to 2 Jackrabbit turnovers. We are tied at 3 after a quarter. We talk about the new look of college athletics and these 2 rosters. You think that's a lot of turnover and new faces for South Dakota State. Then you look at what Sacramento State has, Curtis. This is remarkable, these 2 rosters.
Yeah, I mean, the guys are still truly getting to know each other. And I'm sure they're all telling their backgrounds, where they came from. I mean, can you imagine that session when they stand up and say, hi, I'm Curtis, I'm from, I mean, it would take hours.
Got name tags.
Days, yes.
So the Jackrabbits with a 1st and 10 at the Hornets 36 as we start the 2nd quarter. Chase Mason to throw him at a 4-man rush all day. And he slings it to the near side to Grayton Gannon, who's inside the 20 to the 16-yard line. That is a pickup of 19 yards, the 11th career reception for a young man who is described by Eric Eidsness as a freak athlete.
Yeah, and this is a great job. Mason's trying to go to Goring, it looks like on a smash route. Ricky Lee, the corner, baits him. He sees that. Then he comes back to the other side. Great decision. Hits Gannon for a big gain.
That did not look like a play made by a first-time starting quarterback at the college level, did it?
No, and great protection by the offensive line.
3 wides for Mason. Loffridge the back to his right. Mason throws it deep, hit as he throws, and unable to make the catch was Alex Bullock. It was a little underthrown as Mason got popped. Josh Casciola.
And this is where he's got to learn. He's got to take the first one. Goring is open on the quick out, and he wants the touchdown. And anytime a quarterback's starting to hitch those feet, pump that ball, that means don't throw it because you're thinking you got to make a play.
Jacks are in the Tegra Cooperative red zone, facing a 2nd and 10 at the 17. Ogroski 1, Bullock 84, and Gannon 88. 3 receivers left. Goring 12 to the right. Julius Loffridge the back. Mason trying to escape the rush, and he cannot. He is sacked back near the 30-yard line, and rubbing his belly is the team captain Xavier Williams.
Xavier Williams with the tackle.
On it looked like a face mask, but no, he grabs him by the, and there's not a horse collar penalty in the pocket. Just a good push by the defensive line there.
And Mason held the ball for a long time,
yeah,
too.
And it's another one where they had a quick out. He's got to be willing to just take that, accept those positive yards, and keep playing down the field.
So this is 3rd and 20 for South Dakota State. Hornets jumped early, and then the left guard, Will Pepke, moved to draw the 5-yard flag.
And the reason State's going to get this is because he crosses into the neutral zone here.
The officials are chatting.
Defense, offside, number 58, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Gregory Gumpf, our white hat, who when he's not an official is a funeral director in Cardington, Ohio.
Yeah, and you know that nose guard, the ball's right in front of him. He goes into that neutral zone, though. Offensive linemen now can react and hit him, and they're taught right away, hey, get your hands on him as quickly as possible.
Already the 3rd flag on Sacramento State tonight. None against the Jacks, but again, the 2 turnovers costly for SDSU so far tonight. So this 3rd down and 15. Mason, quick throw on the screen with room inside the 10, goes lofted Ogroski. He'll be down about a yard shy of the sticks. A 14-yard gain, and we have an injured Hornet. I think SDSU was willing to go quickly there on 4th down, but instead, Brody Tagaloa down with an injury.
Yeah, and a great call. Coach Eisness expecting a blitz on 4th and long. They get a quick screen out and run for great yards there.
And so time for SDSU to make a decision as Tagaloa is attended to. We're tied at 3, 4th and 1 when you come back. Tied at 3, opening minutes of the 2nd quarter. Jacks a 4th and 1 at the Sacramento State 8. Their first 2 trips in the red zone, a fumble and a field goal. Do you go for it here on 4th and 1, Coach Riggs?
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, looking at the stats, time of possession, yards, you think SDSU's up 35 to nothing, but they're not. You got to send a message to your team. Hey, you guys are way better. Go out there, get the 1st down. Plus, your defense is playing phenomenal.
Jacks have already converted 1 4th down in this drive. That was near the end of the 1st quarter. They will go for it. Gustad, the fullback, lines up behind Mason. The quarterback is under center. So Groski in motion. Mason will keep. We do have a flag in the backfield.
Chase Mason,
the initial indication is Mason got what he needed for the 1st down.
Yeah, and it should be offsides when they threw the penalty there.
Here is Gregory Gumpf.
Offside. Defense, number 2, line up in the neutral zone. Half the distance to the goal will result in a 1st down.
So, Curtis, that's 2 4th down snaps by the Jackrabbit offense, 2 penalties by Sacramento State on those 4th down plays.
Yeah, and a lot of these new players, you're going to have those lapses of discipline. You're thinking, I got to make a big play. I got to earn my stripes on this new team.
Gustad stays in. He is ahead of Loffridge in the I formation. A throwback, Curtis Riggs. Mason,
wide
the play
open.
fake, and a wide open man. Gustad, the fullback, has it for a touchdown. The 1st in 2025 for South Dakota State.
And linemen always gravitate to that fullback. You don't see him go as crazy when a receiver gets it. The fullback, though, they know he does a lot of mashing just like they do. They want to get him a little party time, too.
Coleman Kuntz, a Sacramento State transfer, number 82, wearing the white jersey for South Dakota State, was beating the tar out of Gus Stead on the sidelines during one of those shots.
Well, and you knew the play action. We talked about it earlier. They were committed to shutting down the run, bringing everyone. Play action early was wide open.
And again, Loffridge picking up a pass rusher for South Dakota State. He's been great in that so far. Stater for the extra point, which is good. And the Jackrabbits with a 10-3 lead on the Integra Cooperative scoreboard as SDSU picks up the 4th down and then cashes in with a little old school football. Andrew Gusted, Gayville Volin High School for the lead.
This game on Midcoast Sports is presented by Farmers Union Insurance. Simply different.
Tyler Merriam, Curtis Riggs, our Midco Sports crew on hand here at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium. A sellout crowd has seen South Dakota State take a 10-3 lead after a 7.5-minute drive capped off by a touchdown pass to a fullback. I mean, old school football fans are loving this, Riggs.
NDSU's thinking SDSU's trying to copy them now. I guarantee we're gonna hear about that.
There you see the drive, 15 plays, 75 yards, and a couple of 4th down conversions along the way as well.
Yeah, and a lot of that I think is just a vote of confidence, saying I know you guys are better. And then also SDSU's defense has been really good up to this point so far.
Sacramento State has 3 yards and 3 points with 12:38 to play in the second quarter.
Yeah, and you wonder if they're going to try to come out and run the ball to help settle Rashada down, but at some point he's just got to start to showcase those skills that everyone has touted about for so long now in his history.
Red and Hammond Jr. back deep. This is a short pop-up kick, and it is caught falling to the turf. An up man, that is Gavin Nelson, who hauled it in.
That was a great catch by Gavin Nelson. I mean, that was not easy, and he's got to do it because it's a live ball. He should fair catch it, but still a really tough catch.
So Sacramento State will operate from its own 36-yard line. With 12:37 left in this second quarter, and it is Jaden Rashada back out. Rashada originally committed to Miami for an NIL package reportedly worth $9.5 million, then changed his mind to go to Florida for a package worth $13.85 million reportedly. Rashada, the play fake, rolling out. He's pressured and he throws low and incomplete. Just to complete the story, he only reportedly got around $100,000 of that money. He actually is suing Florida head coach Billy Napier and the Gator Athletic Department, the first student athlete to sue an athletic department on NIL basis.
Yeah, well, seeing that throw right there, I would be saying he owes some people some money because that was a terrible throw. For a 4- or 5-star kid. I mean, he needs to complete that ball. He had an open receiver.
Rashada, the handoff to Savion Red, who crawls over one man, then gets ridden down by Matt Gehring, the Sioux Falls Roosevelt graduate, after a gain of a couple. So it'll be 3rd down. To your point so far, though, Curtis, Rashada is 0 for 5 through the air.
Yeah, and I bet you got to be careful, though, when you get 2 quarterbacks, because, you know, if one's not decisive, you could send a message for the rest of the season that could ruin things, and then you never really get them back either.
Hornets are 0 of 3 on 3rd downs tonight. They need 8 from their own 38. 4 wides for Rashada. Jacks do not blitz. Rashada steps up over the middle. 1st down and more across midfield, and barreling his way into Jackrabbit territory, Jordan Williams, the Colorado State transfer, 6'5", 217, as he gallops to the 48 of SDSU for a gain of 14.
Yeah, and you see that first read, a quick delivery there, good throw, wide open, nice concept there. You know, one good thing, Matt Goring, you know, he was at Mankato, then USF, and then transfers here. That's one of those stories where you hear the portal is beneficial for some of these kids.
Rashada fakes a handoff, fakes a toss, gets leveled as he throws the pass out to the right side, which is caught by Jamar Curtis. First time we've seen the team captain make an impact on offense as he reaches the 41 of SDSU. That's a gain of 7, 5'8", 169, but a 2-time All-American as we see the big hit Kitan Fife laid on the QB.
Yeah, lightning quick, but Rashada there throws sidearm because of the defender, and a nice delivery and takes a big hit. Those are the types of things that could wake up a player.
First time we've seen the Hornets with any sort of offensive rhythm tonight. Rashada fakes the handoff, then tried to throw to the right side, and the pass was batted down by a leaping Cullen McShane, who certainly has made his presence felt so far as a starting linebacker.
Yeah, and he's lucky that was batted, because Jalen Lee, it looked like he was going to have a chance to pick that off and run it back for a touchdown.
So this is 3rd down for the Hornets. They converted their previous attempt after failing on the first 3. Could be 4-down territory here, looking at 3rd and 3. Rashada will hand the ball off, and this will be a first down for Rodney Hammond Jr. out of Norfolk, Virginia, who spent 4 seasons at Pitt, rushed for over 1,500 yards as a Panther, and he moves the sticks for Sacramento State.
Have you ever had to do as much background information on a roster? I mean, it's incredible. Every guy you list is where they come from. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
Like I said, a nomadic group of players from Sacramento State. 1st and 10 Hornets at the 37 of SDSU. Rashada, the handoff to Savion Red, who breaks a tackle and gets inside the 32, near the 31, before Kyton Fife ran him down. And Fife, an excellent story out of Grand Island, Nebraska. He was informed at the end of a practice, based on a graphic on the video board, he was being put on scholarship.
Well, that's always a great feeling there. Him, his family, his friends, everyone. You know, of those 70 players, I think 9 of them were running backs, right? Yeah, so, I mean, we could see quite a few different backs today for Sacramento State.
Feel like I'm reading the phone book from days gone by, trying to keep up with all this. And the number changes as well. 2nd down and 5. Jaden Rashada, pass right side, nearly intercepted. Fife broke it up. I think if he had seen it coming, he would have picked it off. By the time he looked up, the ball was already on it.
Yeah, it's one where, you know, coaches are yelling, you got to pick this off. Yeah, you can see Coach is saying, hey, get a better pre-snap read of the defense here. They had a pick play on the bottom for their running back, and Rashada never even looked that side.
Rashada ran over to the sideline and talked to Brennan Marion, his head coach. And keep in mind, Sac State also has its offensive coordinator on the sidelines as well, which is not the norm in college football. This is 3rd and 5. The back is Hammond Jr. Rashada will throw the slant, a diving grab, but it is shy of the sticks. Jordan Anderson, an Oregon State transfer, a 4-star recruit out of Inglewood, California, is ruled to have caught the ball.
Yeah, boy, that looked like it hit the ground there. That's a tough one. It looks like he traps that on the ground. It's a tough. I wouldn't be surprised if they take another look at that one.
No signal for it yet. It's 4th down and 1. Rashada has 2 backs behind him, 1 wide to the left, Ontario Smith Jr., and now there is a stoppage in play.
You know, who's the person that says, let's just wait till the absolute last second?
Referring to the replay review?
Yeah, I mean, it's like we know you're going to do it. Let's wait and make it, let's make it suspenseful here.
We're in TV, a flair for the dramatic, right?
I guess people, you know, in the viewing audience are like, are they going to do it, or are they going to?
Well, Clive Townsend is our replay official, and they get all the angles in the booth at the very north end of the stadium, and they can look through it all even before we show it to you. It clearly gets to his hands first. The question is, as he goes to the turf, does he maintain control, right?
And the other is that hand under it. It looks like it could be under it. So they would say if the ground touches it, is he controlling the ball still? That's a tough one. That's why they get paid a lot more than you and I.
Speak for yourself. No, the one thing we should acknowledge here is that they have changed the wording when we hear the replay reviews. Is you'll hear call upheld, but you won't hear the confirmed or some of those more particular items you used to in previous years with replay review. One of those subtle changes in the rule book for 2025.
Yeah, that and the players falling, taking an injury.
The feigning injury, Yep, that's a new rule as well, that if you feign an injury, or even if you have an injury, if you go down after the ball has been spotted, you have to take a timeout. And if you're out of timeouts, it's a 5-yard delay of game penalty. One more look here, Curtis, frame by frame. What do you think?
It's the right hand. You see, he gets that to the side. Does he get, his wrist is bent? That's tough. That's difficult one there. I think seeing that up to 10.
After review, the ruling on the field of the catch is upheld. It'll be 4th and 1 for Sacramento State.
I'm going to say whatever the call on the field was, that's what that was going to be based on what we had to look at.
Yeah, you're right.
And Brennan Marion, I still don't know how he got that headset over the cowboy hat.
Do you think the players are going, Coach, you got a cowboy hat with a headset on it? I mean, you just never see that.
Well, he had to do it in practice, right?
Oh, no.
You don't think so?
I doubt it. Yeah.
Here's 4th and 1 for Sacramento State. And this is not Rashada, this is Williams, who fakes the handoff, keeps, and he will not make it. The Jackrabbits are there. Kitan Fife stands up. Cardell Williams, the first play he's a part of for Sacramento State, is an over on downs for South Dakota State.
What a difficult first play to come in. 4th and 1 with everyone coming at you.
Kirshenman was there initially, and the Jackrabbits force the over on downs to turn the Hornets back.
Presented by South Dakota State University. Build a better future with South Dakota State University. And by Peterson Farms Seed.
10-3 South Dakota State on the Tegra Cooperative scoreboard. The Jackrabbits, the 4th down stop of the Hornet offense. And now SDSU will take over just across its own 30-yard line. In the middle of that pack is Kitan Fife. We mentioned he was turned from walk-on to scholarship player on that drive. 2 tackles, 1 for loss, and a pass breakup. Not a bad way to earn that scholarship.
Yeah, active, really flying around the field.
So here's Chase Mason with the handoff to Julius Lafferidge. Stretch play right side across the 35 and diving across the 40 near a first down at the 41-yard line of SDSU. In fact, it will move the sticks. It's a gain of 10 for the young man out of Houston.
Yeah, and this is a patented concept that we saw a lot of Amir, Angel Johnson, Isaiah Davis have that patience of letting the offensive line get out in front of them, stick that foot in the ground, get downhill quickly.
Whatever you need.
8 rushes, 31 yards for Lafferidge, who was a 2-time All-Patriot League selection at Fordham. He's behind Mason in the pistol. Lofton Ogroski motions. Mason will give it to Lafferidge up the middle. Big hole to midfield. Working his way inside the 40. He will not be denied to the 22-yard line of Sacramento State. 37 yards for Julius Lafferidge.
And this first part, making that nice cut and read through there, fans will think that's okay. This is what will get Jacks fans behind you. When they see that effort of carrying guys another 15 yards, your offensive line loves to block for you, coaches want to call plays for you, and the fans are going to root you on.
They tell me his nickname is Juice. That's rather apropos after what we've seen so far tonight. He is behind Mason in the pistol. It's a toss to him with a convoy in front. And he works his way inside the 20 and drags a man to the 17 for 5 more. That is 73 yards on 9 attempts. And again, despite initial contact, he just keeps going forward.
Yeah, and you would expect with his history that he could be a workhorse, that they can continue to feed him the ball and he'll be okay to continue to carry it.
It's the first time in 7 years he's played for somebody other than the Rams. Maid Creek High School in the Houston area were the Rams. Fordham, the Rams.
Coach Eisen, as Coach Jackson, must have had a pretty good pitch of how to recruit him to be a Jackrabbit.
So 2nd down and 5. Lafferidge remains in the game. Mason will give it to him. Lafferidge breaks a tackle. He's still going. Pinballs to the 11-yard line for 6 more and a first down.
And again, you see him break that first tackle about 1.5 yards deep in the backfield. Watch right here. He's able to run through that arm tackle and get positive yards falling forward.
Lafferidge with all 58 yards for South Dakota State on the drive. The Jacks inside the Tegra Cooperative red zone.
Yeah, and Sacramento State's expecting pass here. They just brought in a nickel package.
Trips right, receiver left. Mason runs inside the 10. Stumbling his way inside the 5 to the Hornet 3. That's 9 for Mason, who averages better than 10 yards per rush during his time as a Jackrabbit.
Yeah, and I had commented earlier, probably one of the greatest high school highlight videos I'd ever seen was Chase Mason, 9-man football. It was like watching Lamar Jackson out in the 9-man field, but still the biggest player on the field too. And then he's got Angel Johnson as a teammate. I mean, how unfair is that?
Game should have been called before it started. So the rest of the huddle hasn't broke yet. Finally it does. Play clock at 5. Mason with Loffridge behind him will motion Ogroski. He'll roll right. Mason dancing around and gets sacked on 2nd down and short back near the 9-yard line by Dylan Hampston out of Santa Clarita, California, a transfer from San Jose State.
Yeah, and he's frustrated. He wanted to make that play. Sometimes you have to be willing to say, hey, good call, Sac State. I'm going to eat this one, and I'm going to get you on the next play. He almost fumbles there. He's able to fall on the ball.
Well, again, the Jacks have been in the red zone multiple times in this game. 3 before this trip. This is the 4th. They have a combined 10 points to show for it. 3rd down, they need to reach near the 1. Chase Mason. Catch made by Bullock. He'll dive near the 3, but it's not enough for the 1st down.
You know, it's not a touchdown, but it's what the defense gave. I mean, that was the open read right there, and he got rid of it quicker than that previous drive.
Offense stays on the field. Gustad and Braden Delahoyde, a couple of tight ends, come on the field. Gustad technically a fullback along with Gannon. So this is a heavy package here on 4th and a good 2. Gustad is the only setback. Mason under center. He'll hand it off, and it's the sweep to Lofton Ogroski, who bull rushes his way into the end zone for a South Dakota State score.
Yeah, he wants to get outside that block, but Sac State made some cut back into the flow. He just runs through the arm tackles. It's a 1-yard gain. It's a good job just powering through right there.
I don't care who it's been for South Dakota State tonight. They have finished every run, every reception physically.
Yeah, and you can just see the determination. I'm getting in. You're not stopping me.
So here is Stater, the Northwestern of Iowa transfer. Off the hold of Max Pelham to tack on the extra point. Caden Olivia the snap. All parts successful. And South Dakota State with a 17-3 lead. The Jacks have had a 4th down conversion by penalty and 2 by simply moving the sticks. And the Jackrabbits a 17-3 lead on the Integra Cooperative scoreboard.
There's so many positives about it. One, it makes other teams have to prepare knowing that you're willing to go for it on 4th down situations. 2, it's just a confidence builder. Confidence builder in your offensive line. Confidence builder saying, hey, defense, I know if they get stopped, you'll go out there and get the ball back for us.
And there is something to say, too, about the fact, Curtis, this is a young team that hasn't played a game together, that faced some adversity early in this contest with the missed opportunities, the 3-3 game after a quarter, and they've responded in positive ways.
Yeah, and you and I talked to Coach Jackson at practice, and he even said, he goes, hey, we're going to make some mistakes. We're going to muddy things up a little bit. Hopefully we just don't give big plays up so we can stay in there and just wear them down the second half. It's really what you're seeing. I mean, they're making those self-inflicted mistakes, but they are dominating in the trenches.
Harrington, the freshman out of Ankeny, Iowa, will kick it. Only one deep man, Rodney Hammond Jr. at the goal line. And he's coming out. Spins through a tackle at the 20 and gets ridden down at the 25-yard line by Jack Smith, the wide receiver.
Yeah, I saw Mason McCormick coming into the stadium. He's here right before they're about to kick off week 1. Talk about a lineman. Him and Greenfield, I think the only 2 that ever get four-time All-American. But they're the ones that really established the dominance of that run of in the trenches, taking over for the dynamic run game over the years.
The 605 Hogs, as they call them in these parts. Jaden Rashada back on the field for that man, Brennan Marion, the first-year head coach of Sacramento State. 2 backs to the right of the QB, Rashada. 1 wide either side. Rashada the give, and a nice little game. Kirshenman with the stop, and that was Jamar Curtis, the senior out of Waldorf, Maryland, over 3,000 rushing yards in his career as a two-time All-American at Lafayette.
Well, and if you look now, it looks like Marion is calling the plays. I don't know if he was doing that earlier, but I know now he is. That's got to be a difficult thing as head coach. You have a coordinator. Are you letting him do it, or are you taking over?
2nd and 7. Red will work his way towards the 30. Ball came out at the end of the play, and the indication is South Dakota State football. Reese Kirshenman comes up with it for the home team.
Yeah, and he's just been dominant. When you bring 9 new or 7 new running backs in, though, when you fumble, you better look. You're going to drop down on that board, that ranking of running backs.
Kirshenman's first career fumble recovery.
Well, and it looked like it was Ullman that punched it out. Teams practice that now. They practice that punch technique to get that ball out.
Kirshenman, who added a ton of muscle in the offseason. One of the words Brian Bergstrom, the defensive coordinator, used to describe him as smooth, and he certainly was in coming up with that fumble. And now the Jackrabbits a chance to blow this thing open late in the second quarter. At the 28 of the Hornets, 1st and 10. Brendan Begeman is in as the tailback. Mason fakes it to him. He'll throw it across the middle. Reception made. Alex Bullock, he makes one man miss and dives to the 9 of the Hornets for a pickup of 19 yards.
Yeah, and Smith, the corner, he sees it. He sees him coming. Chase could actually throw it sooner, but nice job preparing for the hit, getting the ball into his chest. Good play.
We have an injured Hornet out near the 30-yard line. If there's one thing you keep talking about, Curtis, with Chase Mason, it's the fact that maybe he's a little delayed in making his decisions. Would you concur?
Yeah, I would. Well, actually, 2 things. One, seeing the guy be open then throwing rather than throwing him open. And 2, taking what the defense gives. And you know, these are things Eric Eisness is going to harp on. They're going to really adjust to the style of play, and then really, hey, these are the critical mistakes as we get into conference play we got to be able to do.
It's Malik Tullis who has helped off the field, the defensive lineman. Mason tonight, 10 of 14 for 129 yards and a score, 9 rushes for 7 yards. With a long of 10, of course, sacks count against the quarterback in the rush game. And inside the Integra Cooperative red zone, the Jacks have a 1st and goal at the 9. Gannon motioning to the right. Begeman will take the handoff, and the Selby, South Dakota native cradles the football and gets a couple near the 7-yard line. Derek Houston, the team captain, started 3 games a year ago. The middle linebacker out of Rockland, California, rode into the turf.
Yeah, and you're just hoping you can outnumber them to the short side of the field there. Really nowhere to go on that play, though. Defended well by Sac State.
Jacks wouldn't have to snap this football. They could let it go to the 2-minute timeout if they so choose. 5th time in the red zone for SDSU. High snap. Mason corrals it. He'll keep. And he'll work his way down to the 4-yard line. And it's 3rd and goal after our 2-minute timeout. 3rd-ranked South Dakota State, number 15 Sacramento State. And on the Integra Cooperative scoreboard, the Jackrabbits with a 2-score advantage. Coming up at halftime, Director of Athletics Justin Sell will join us to talk in part about Jack's Bash. Had over 22,000 people here at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium on Thursday night. And what a job by the facilities crew to turn this place around for a football game today. We'll also get to know a Jackrabbit, Tyler Sarda, and we'll have first half stats and highlights. And the stats would indicate an even more dominant first half than SDSU's 17-3 lead right now.
Yeah, you're right. People are going to hear those stats and think, are you guys calling the wrong game? I mean,
I've often been accused of that.
You showed me the pictures. The concert looked amazing. I couldn't get a ticket. You got to know somebody in this place, but it was packed. It looked awesome.
I did notice I had a number of missed calls from you. I apologize for that.
I'm sure they were missed unintentionally.
3rd and goal at the 4. Gustad to Mason's left, Begum into his right. High snap. Mason has to run this thing down, and he finally corrals it back at the 19. A disastrous play that could have been even worse. Mason does at least save the possession for South Dakota State.
Here's what's bad. The snap is bad, but here's what's the scariest part. Right here, Chase Mason going for that ball. You get one of those D linemen going right for the ball, and he takes the helmet right to the head. That's what's so scary. That's what Coach Jackson's holding his breath for at that moment. We'll get the snaps figured out, but where we're trying to potentially get ourselves in big trouble, things like that happen.
Results in the 10-second runoff. Please subtract 10 seconds from the game clock. The clock will start on the ready for play.
So because of a helmet coming off, there's the 10-second runoff, and now Eli Stater, who hit from 22 earlier tonight, will attempt a 37-yard field goal. It was 2 weeks into fall camp. Timeout, Sacramento State. Eli Stater, a week and a half into fall camp, received a call from Jackrabbit head coach Dan Jackson and said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Oh, I'm about to mow my lawn, and I got an interview with an insurance agency tomorrow to see about a job after graduation." Dan said, "That doesn't sound fun at all. Why don't you come up to SDSU? We need a kicker." And so Stater arrived, and here he is trying a second field goal at the opening half.
Yeah, I mean, no one wants to go start doing some cold calls. I mean, he's exactly right. As soon as he said he's going to go sell insurance, Dan knew he had him. I got him. Yeah, let me tell you about a better opportunity.
Stater might be a good salesman. He cannot be better than Dan Jackson is right now. I'll promise you that.
Yeah, and he's had to sell a lot to maintain and bring a lot of new guys in.
So this will be a 37-yarder, virtually straight on for Stater off the Olivia snap and the Pelham hold. It is no good.
Boy, these fumbles are just the nemesis here now. I mean, what'd you say, 13 all of last year? And they've got 3 already this game.
Well, how about this? 5 red zone trips, 17 points is all for South Dakota State. A lot of points left on the field in this opening half.
Yeah, and the fumble part, I mean, you know, the snaps, obviously. They'll get that cleaned up. But it's still a matter of taking care of the football. That's the #1 priority, always.
Still the first half for the Hornets at their 20-yard line.
Now, Sac State gets the ball first, too, coming out second half.
3 wides right and 1 left for Jaden Rashada. Jacks rush 4. Rashada takes a shot deep down the sideline, and a diving reception made into South Dakota State territory by Jordan Anderson. First time Sacramento State has really taken a shot down the field since the opening possession, and it's good for 32 yards.
Yeah, and a beautiful throw by Rashada, and just a great catch, but poorly mistimed judgment by Taylor there on the ball. You saw him go right by it.
Hornets have 1:35 and 2 timeouts here. Rashada the handoff, and Curtis gets banged to the turf after a gain of about 3. Joe Ullman, the middle linebacker, along with Kobe Claiborne, the team captain out of Sioux City, Iowa, who you see in your frame.
Yeah, and they do that run to just try to continue to slow down that rush of the Jacks defensive front.
Rashada overlooks a 4-man front. Blitz is on. He's in trouble. Claiborne reaches out and brings him to the turf behind the midfield stripe. Claiborne with 4.5 sacks a year ago, and I believe he thinks that's a dance move he just did in celebration.
Yeah, he'll be made fun of for that in film session, but the effort's outstanding, and you can just sense the panic by Rashada as that pocket starts to close down.
One of the highlights of SDSU's picture day, and it was on social media, Claiborne has a rather large dog who he had put a jersey sweater on, and he posed with him.
That's not common, or what?
That happened a lot with the Storm in your day?
Well, we saw a lot of things, yeah.
Some of those we can even say on the 102 till halftime, the Hornets with this timeout. Looking at a 3rd down and long. Rashada tonight, 4 of 11 for 58 yards. Again, South Dakota State has outgained Sacramento State 235 to 68. but just a 17-3 lead because of the missed opportunities. Rashada and the Hornets need the 37 of SDSU. The quarterback throws right, a terrific catch reaching out by Rodney Hammond Jr., who gets shoved out of bounds. Noah St. Just on the stop to the 45 of SDSU. This will be 4th down and 8.
Yeah, I'm more than willing to sacrifice that, give that up, and now put them in a, I can't believe they would go for this on 4th down here. Looks like they are going to, though.
They are 0 for 1 on 4th down so far tonight. The only snap the backup QB Cardell Williams has taken. This will be Rashada with Hammond Jr. to his right, 2 wides to either side. Blitz is on. Rashada will take a shot down the right sideline, and it's intercepted by the transfer from Buffalo, Jaden Oliver.
Jaden Oliver's celebrating, but he's got to realize, just bat that down. Like, yeah, it's awesome to get an interception, but you took your offense from scoring position to now probably just going to take a knee before half here.
Yeah, if Oliver knocks that down, it's Jackrabbit football near midfield with 3 timeouts and 50 seconds left, and instead, the Jacks have it at their own 6. That's a terrific point.
Yeah, I saw the exact same thing happen in a high school game last night. That's a high school player. They're college. You got to have a better sense of the positioning and what's going on down in distance.
Hornets only have 1 timeout, so you would assume here from the 6, SDSU will just let the clock run out. But then again, we have not seen Dan Jackson as a head coach in this situation, so that's one of the things that's intriguing.
Yeah, and with some of the snaps, though, I think you got to be somewhat cautious, especially backed up in your end zone here.
Lothridge realigns to Chase Mason's right. It's a give to Lothridge, who is brought down near the 9-yard line by Oscar Moore, the linebacker.
Now, I don't know what the purpose of calling that timeout would be for Sacramento State.
The only thing I can think of is that, to your point about the fact that the Jacks have had some snapping issues, if you don't call that timeout, SDSU can walk off the field. By calling it, you at least force 1 more snap.
Make them do another snap. No.
Well, you can't take them with you, right?
That's right. Use them up. Yep. Seems to be like the riverboat gambler there.
South Dakota State will be at Montana State next week. Meanwhile, the Hornets will be at Nevada. Both these teams a challenging first couple of games on their schedules.
Yeah, I think I saw Montana State fell to Oregon today.
Correct. And tough 2 games for them as well. A lot of the Blue Bloods are not messing around. USD is at Iowa State today and lost. NDSU win on the road, although they got a big decisive win at the Citadel. But teams are challenging themselves early on. Mason will throw it left side. Reception made by Lofton Ogroski, and he'll pick up the 1st down to the 18. Jacks have all 3 timeouts if they want to take a shot here.
I guess I'm struggling why you wouldn't call timeout there if you're going to throw.
Mason pressured, running away from it, and simply gets rid of it out of bounds on the near side with 26 seconds left.
Sometimes those are the best throws, too, right there. Throw it away. I mean, live to see another down, make a smart decision. Don't put the offense and defense in a bad situation.
You've been impressed with his decision-making. It's just the timing of it, right?
Yeah, very much so, and that's a great point. And I think that's something being acclimated to being the starting quarterback now, playing all the reps rather than just one package as he did in the past.
And this is the first time Chase Mason has ever started an 11-man football game in his life. How about some pressure for you? 19,000 people in your home state. Mason to throw. Wants to take a shot. Wide open man, Isaiah Garcia Castaneda reached behind him and hauled it in at the 33-yard line. That's a pickup of 15, and that was a bullet out of the hands of the 6'4" quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever saw him play baseball when he was younger, he would come out of right field and fire at home plate About just like that. I mean, you can just see how live his arm is.
For those that don't know the whole story, we've talked about it a little. Mason tore his ACL the second game of his senior year in high school, so didn't play any football that season. That was in 2020. Then he spent the fall of 2021 at Nebraska as a baseball player, realized he'd rather play football, came back to SDSU, and then tore his ACL in the spring of 2022. He was a backup to Mark Gronowski and played, as we've talked about, in both 23 and 24. So he hasn't been the regular starter since 2020, and he has been just licking his chops for tonight.
Yeah, and even when he played behind Gronowski, it was a power package. He came in to get short yardage situations.
52 pass attempts in his career entering tonight. Most of those were in the fourth quarter of lopsided games. Jacks still have 2 timeouts at the 32 of their own. Mason's throw to the near side, lofted Ogroski, a diving catch inbounds at the 37, and Dea Jackson quickly will utilize SDSU's second of its 3 allotted timeouts.
Yeah, that's really another learning one for Chase. You want to give him the chance to be able to catch and get out of bounds. You get your feet set, get going at your target rather than just whipping the ball out there. It was a little off target. The receiver had to dive to catch it, thus the clock continues to run.
All right, we've talked a lot about Brennan Marion at Sacramento State, Dan Jackson at South Dakota State being first-year head coaches in college football. You've been there as a first-time head coach. We see Jackson. What's going through the mind of a first-time head coach?
Win. Yeah, I mean, win for sure. The AD's tough here. He's going to put some pressure on you. No, I mean, the expectation at South Dakota State's to win and go out there. You shouldn't take a step back. And so that's the added pressure of coming in. And Dan was here before. He knows that. He doesn't want to let people down. And he thought coming in, even with the people they lost, they can still continue to go out and win games.
Jacks still have a timeout here at their own 37. Mason to the near side. Reception made, Graham Goring, and he dives to the 46 of Sacramento State.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to get out of bounds there. That's a terrible mistake by a veteran player, too. I mean, now Coach Jackson's got to use a timeout there. You see Goring knows right now.
Here's the only thing I'll say in response to that. With 6 seconds left, do you have time for more than one play?
You would have time to one play and then field goal. You get in field goal range, yeah, for sure. And that was a great throw by Chase Mason there. You could see Goring almost had to catch it defensively because it had so much heat coming on it. But just get out of bounds, and then you can decide one play, field goal range, get out there.
Mason has hit 6 different receivers tonight with his 14 completions. The Jacks have also had 5 different men rush the football.
Well, I think they've done some really good things here for the coaches to evaluate and see. But remember, if we bat that interception down, this is where they're starting. We're right in this range right here.
So with 6 seconds left in the half and the Jacks out of timeouts. Mason buying time. Now he'll run to the 40. And he'll spin down to the 30-yard line. And that'll bring us to the end of our first half. A first half statistically dominated by South Dakota State. And the Jackrabbits are ahead, but no doubt part of the halftime conversation with head coach Dan Jackson is what could have been for the yellow and blue, as SDSU on the Integra Cooperative scoreboard takes a 17-3 lead into the locker room in the Precision Ag Bowl. Dakota State leading Sacramento State in front of a sellout crowd here at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium. Tyler Merriam here at halftime, joined by SDSU Director of Athletics Justin Sell. And Justin, students arrived on campus last week. Home opening football game, Jacks Bash 3 a couple of nights ago. What a 10-day span this has been at South Dakota State.
It's been incredible, and you come off a summer with no games and working on a lot of stuff with the NCAA and in higher education, and to get games back, get people back, get our student athletes back out here, it's been really special. And then to have that in the first week of school, I'm not sure there's any students across the country that have had a major concert and a first home football game in the matter of 3 days.
Let's talk about the concert. Jacks Bash 3, 22,000 people. Obviously, Blake Shelton, the headliner for that, but what a night it was here at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium.
Yeah, and obviously very fortunate that Dana Dykhouse was willing to bring that in and celebrate certainly First Premier and his employees, but it's for our institution, for our students, for our faculty, staff, our season ticket holders. And Chance, when you get the opportunity to have Jackrabbits get together and celebrate, and there's nothing better. And that's the third one we've been able to do, and I think everyone understands how that elevates our university. It elevates the experience for all of us around here, and we're just fortunate to be able to kick off the year with that kind of an event.
Well, and usually when you have an event like that, stadium crews have weeks to spin things around, and the facilities crew here in less than 48 hours turns it around to host a football game.
Yeah, I can't say enough about the quality of the people we have that work here. Certainly our facility staff with Jeff Holm and Christy Williams and the whole group. And then all of our sports teams, all of our coaches, our administration, we all jump in. We were moving chairs, maybe picked up a beer can or two. But, you know, it was just an amazing deal to see the entire field covered, field goal posts out, and to turn that around. And by really mid-afternoon on Friday, kind of have it back into shape and ready to go. And takes a lot of people and a lot of work to pull these events off.
And this fall, when you look at how successful last fall was for South Dakota State, it'll be tough to replicate that here in 2025.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's just, you know, we've been building every year and having these types of experiences, and what we're really going into this year, don't take it for granted. We're thankful for these opportunities. We're thankful to be able to have the major concerts and then to sell out our stadium, to have 7 home games this year, and coming off a year when we set all kinds of records and being able to establish that's really what the expectation is now, and we're all working really hard to do that again.
And one of the things that continues to grow is the television coverage, a record number of events on linear TV thanks to our friends here at Midco Sports.
Yeah, I mean, we feel really fortunate. We've got partners that understand us, understand how much our fans travel. They tune in. They want to see the Jackrabbits, and we can do some things in moving our brand forward, moving our university forward, and Midco Sports and the opportunity to work with the fantastic people there and the folks on our staff that know how to tie those things together. There's so much that goes into a production. There's so much that goes into a marketing piece, and how do you elevate the experiences, and we do it in a very first-class way.
I know you're excited to get to watch more of the halftime and whatnot. We appreciate you taking a few moments up here and hopefully get to enjoy the second half.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, Tyler.
Justin Sell, SDSU Director of Athletics. We are at the break here in the Precision Ag Bowl, the season opener for the South Dakota State football team, and the Jacks a 17-3 edge over the visiting Hornets of Sacramento State. Visiting Hornets of Sacramento State. At halftime all year long, we'll meet Jackrabbits who have made a difference. Some of them are current students. Some of them have already graduated from SDSU. Let's meet one from a town that I dare you to know where it's from, Chelsea, South Dakota. Here's more on Tyler Sarda.
Hi, my name's Tyler Sarda. I graduated in the fall of 2018 from South Dakota State with a bachelor's degree of agronomy and a bachelor's degree in precision agriculture. So what I do at Simplot is I basically am a seed research agronomist in a roundabout way. I work a lot with testing products, creating commercial portfolios, so creating the marketing data, building the informational tech sheets. The area I cover is from the Canadian border down to I-70 Kansas, and then I cover the Pacific Northwest all the way through Ohio. So I get to see a lot of acres, a lot of crop, and understand a lot of different farming practices. I'd say my favorite part of what I do is spend time and train new people and giving them the education that I was given. I'd say the biggest thing I liked the most was the interaction between students and faculty. They were very good at not only teaching a lot of the hard subjects, but being able to take those and put those in a real life scenario where you can take that and make it applicable to a day-to-day instance. All the classes honestly gave me some of the best fundamentals and understanding of a lot of agriculture, not only from the agronomy side, but precision agriculture side too. So I understood a lot of how plants work, how plants operate, but also being able to take that back to the field level to a grower and say, hey, you know, this is what we need to pay attention to for your planter or your combine or your tillage, variable rate fertilizer or seeding applications. The work I do directly impacts South Dakota. I work in a traditional row crop with corn and soybeans, and that's where a lot of South Dakota's acres go, at least in the eastern part of the state. So I feel like it really, truly does impact a lot of acres within South Dakota.
Some of the sellout crowd here at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium taking in halftime, and South Dakota State a 17-3 lead over the Hornets of Sacramento State. First half stats and highlights when you come back to Brookings. Of two of the top 15 teams ranked in the FCS preseason poll. Welcome back. High atop Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium with the Hall of Famer Curtis Riggs. I'm Tyler Merriam. The Jackrabbits really dominated that first half, but if you're Sacramento State, you feel good in the fact that you're still within 17-3 and get the ball to start the second half, right?
Well, it's a selling point in the locker room, but the coaches know they're not feeling good. It's been dominant by SDSU. It's just, you're right, the carelessness at times is what's kept this score kind of close because the stats say otherwise.
We'll get to the stats in a moment. First, let's take a look at some of our first half highlights brought to you by our friends at Avera Orthopedics. And Chase Mason early on goes vertical to Lofted Ogroski.
Yeah, and you love seeing him making the plays from in the pocket too.
And getting the tight ends involved. First Creighton Gannon for this long one.
Yeah, now you see Coach Eisness getting him out, letting him be an athlete, the playmaker, distributing the ball here again.
The fullback Gustad for the touchdown. You love that.
Yeah, everyone loves to see that fullback. And then Loffridge carrying defenders here, another 15 yards. Jack fans love seeing that, and he's having a great night so far.
82 yards on 11 carries. Ogroski with the touchdown run on the little trick play there.
Yeah, and it's great to see one of the new ones coming in and making plays.
And then Ullman forces the fumble. Kirshenman comes up with the fumble recovery as South Dakota State cashed in for a field goal, and the Jackrabbits a 17-3 lead at the break. And we look at some of the numbers from our first half, and again, the Jackrabbits dominating time of possession. And just look at the yardage domination by SDSU.
Yeah, the yardage domination, the rushing yards, you love seeing only 10 yards for them, under 100 yards passing. The 2 turnovers, though, is the problem. Plus, they've had a couple other fumbles that they've been able to get on because of snaps.
5 red zone trips and only 17 points. I mean, that's what's keeping Sacramento State in this game.
Yeah, and 2 of them were inside the 5-yard line, and those are the disappointing ones. Time possession, yeah, that's where it seems like the Jacks have been out there all night and very little of the Sacramento State offense.
Let's take a look at some other games throughout the FCS today as we have a peek at our Missouri Valley Football Conference scoreboard. And North Dakota State starts things off on the road with an impressive win over the Citadel. UNI, another coaching change in the Valley, a big win 38-14. USD goes on the road and loses at Iowa State, and East Tennessee takes care of Murray State. Anything surprise you on that first slate?
The only one, I thought South Dakota, I thought it would be a better showing, especially with Iowa State coming back from overseas, having Iowa next week. But you saw right away at the beginning of the game, Iowa State really went out and attacked the South Dakota defense.
Let's take a peek at some other scores here throughout the Missouri Valley today. Oklahoma dominating Illinois State, but how about North Dakota? An impressive showing on the road against a top 25 FBS ranked foe.
Yeah, and a very hungry Kansas State team that just came off a tough, grueling game overseas too. You thought they would have something to prove. North Dakota hanging in there now with leading at half.
And we talked about this a little earlier, but it's really hard to know much about some of these teams with their first game in general, particularly this year. We're not going to know a lot about the UNDs or even the Illinois States till we get 4 or 5 weeks into the season.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's so tough to gauge. And how is a Butler? How's that? I mean, Citadel, how can you really assess what NDSU has from that game?
So it's the Jackrabbits here in Brookings with a 17-3 lead over the visiting Hornets of Sacramento State, and we are moments away from our second half. Stay tuned. You're watching Jackrabbit Football on Midco Sports.
Thanks for watching the
Jacks. A 17-3 lead as we get ready for the start of the third quarter. And Curtis, another way to look at this, we talked about SDSU's 2 turnovers. Sacramento State only scored 3 points off of those 2 turnovers. So there's a positive in how the Jacks handled that situation.
Yeah, you're right. And some of the sloppiness and carelessness has been majority offense. The Jacks defense has played outstanding. In fact, the one area you would say they made a mistake was an interception. I mean, he should have just batted that down, but they look phenomenal up front with that, the rotation they've got going with that defensive line.
And I've been impressed, too, because Sac State's offensive line we thought would be a strength of this team, and the Jacks' front 4 has certainly held its own.
Yeah, and you can see that Sacramento State's still trying to feel out, hey, what can we do against these guys? We're trying everything.
Sacramento State won the toss and deferred, so the Hornets will have the football to start the second half. So if they put a drive together here, this could be a one-score game. We've seen Cardell Williams take one snap at quarterback for the Hornets. Otherwise, it has been Jaden Rashada. We'll keep an eye on that as Ryan Harrington kicks things off to open the third quarter. And this ball will bounce to the 10, and then it's returned, and a nice return out across the 30. Hammond Jr. gets lifted up into the air and put down by Jack Smith, who's had a couple of nice plays on special teams defensively.
When you see that burst of speed, I think you were talking about that they've got a lot of guys with very impressive 40 times. It's can they bring these guys together, and you see that when they get chances out in the open field.
Yeah, that's the one thing about the Sacramento State team. I mean, they look the part. They get off the bus, and you see they have a ton of athletes.
Yeah, and it's athletes, too. I think, you know, maybe not quite the OD line, but athletes they definitely have.
Jaden Rashada in the first half was 5 of 13 for 64 yards. No touchdowns, 1 interception. The go-go offense of Brennan Marion, who turned 38 earlier this week. Handoff, running right, Hammond Jr. That play got stretched out for no gain. Logan Green, one of the team captains out of Northborough, Iowa, stretched that play sideways, and it's no gain.
Well, not only sideways, he was 2 yards in the backfield, taking the guard for a ride as he went to get the ball carrier.
What does it say about this Jackrabbit team? 6 captains, 2 are O linemen, and 2 are D linemen.
Well, no one wants to argue with those guys. So Coach Jackson, he knows, hey, let me get some guys that got a little power and authority here.
2nd and 10, Hammond Jr. the motion man. Curtis will take the handoff, the scat back, run down from behind by Kobe Claiborne after just a yard. And it's 3rd down and 9. The Hornets just 2 of 7 on 3rd downs in the opening half.
Yeah, they're trying to guess now because, again, you see Claiborne's 5 yards in the backfield this time, but they run the exact same play thinking that they'll catch SDSU stunning on the opposite side, the wide side. SDSU just stayed at home.
So 3rd and 9. The Jackrabbit faithful rising to their feet. Rashada out of Pittsburgh, California, some 70 miles southwest of the Sacramento State campus. And early movement and flags, and this play is dead.
Ball start. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
5th penalty on Sacramento State. The Jacks have not been penalized so far tonight.
Well, and he's going against Kirschenman. He's just worried about that quick sprinter start. I got to get out of my stance quick here. And quarterback, are you going to snap it? I'm holding this position a long time here.
So 3rd and long. Gavin Nelson, the tight end, motions to the right. Jacks rush 4. Rashada buried as he throws. The reception made, but hit out of bounds. Jordan Anderson. We do have a flag where the big hit came on the quarterback, Rashada.
Yeah, I'm interested what this flag is because it was way after, so it must be some type of taunting of some sort. But Kirschenman put a lick on him. They run a twist. He comes all the way around to the A gap, right in the face of the quarterback, and just lights him up. He must have said something, though.
Gregory Gumpf, our referee.
After the play, personal foul. Defense, number 8, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic 1st down.
So a huge mistake for Kirschenman.
Yeah, you see him come around, boom, right in his face, and then getting up, he must have said, you know, hey, stay away from Cubbies after the game. They've got the best burgers. We don't want you guys tasting those.
That's another look here. Let's see if we see what happened at the end. Was that little shove, maybe?
That's pretty weak. Yeah.
Run up the middle and a gain of about 3 yards by Damian Henderson II. 6th different rusher for Sacramento State. They have not had a run from scrimmage longer than 5 yards today. They have had 16 rushes for a total of 14 yards.
Well, and the key for the go-go offense is 1st down. You got to get positive yards, get going, and allow your offensive line to get set and keep attacking. But when you're 2nd and 3rd and long situations, it's tough to do.
Blitz is on. Rashada trying to get away and ran back into the Jackrabbits. Chase Van Tol, who had leaped over a block blocker and missed the first time, but he did not miss the second opportunity.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You never see this. He hurdles the back, falls down, and then Rashada has to come back to him. I mean, he misses it initially and then still gets the sack. That's quite a play there.
How about the vertical on Van Tol?
Yeah, that was an impressive play, to say the least.
Out of T, South Dakota. So another 3rd and long for Sacramento State. This is 16 yards. Rashada trying to communicate with his offense, and they can't hear him. Play clock is inside of 5. With 1, he's able to get the snap. Rashada will take a shot down the center of the field, and it is incomplete, nearly intercepted. Dante Johnson able to get his hands on it, the safety.
They just sent everyone deep. That's all they did. It was almost like they're playing 500, just throwing it up there.
You had to be a hell of a 500 player in your day.
Throwing it. Yeah, if I'm trying to catch, I didn't have much of a vertical.
So 3rd punt of the night for Cal McGuff.
Cal McGuff in punt formation for the Hornets.
And back to return Isaiah Garcia Castaneda, the wide receiver out of 29 Palms, California. McGuff gets away, a high kick, and Garcia Castaneda secures the fair catch at the 11-yard line. So a punt of 45 yards with no return. The Jackrabbit defense giving nowhere to go to Jaden Rashada as the Jacks have a 17-3 advantage.
This game on Midco Sports is presented by Sanford Health, the exclusive orthopedics and sports medicine provider of the Jackrabbits.
Sellout crowd tonight here at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium, and just to see the way the fan base has rallied around this program the last few years, Curtis Riggs, pretty impressive.
Yeah, especially this year. You know, you got an entire new staff. I mean, first, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
And then all the new players. And I think some of it was excitement, some of it was curiosity, too.
Chase Mason will turn and give it to Julius Loffridge. Boy, he's got room to the 25, diving to the 26-yard line. 14 more yards for Loffridge, who now has 96 on 12 attempts tonight.
Yeah, blocked extremely well. Look at this. I mean, the offensive line just dominating right there. You know, going back to that, SDSU does such a great job of having in-state players, though, that are contributing. You know, Van Tol, we were just talking about Kirshenman, Chase Mason.
Well, I think back to when the Jacks made the move, one of the negative comments from everybody was you'll have to change how you recruit. You can't have South Dakotans anymore. As Loffridge runs across the 30 and backs his way to the 35 to the 36 for 10 more. He has crossed the 100-yard mark for the yellow and blue.
Yeah, that's a great point. Also, the success that schools like SDSU, USD have had has drawn FBS schools to come in and see, hey, these South Dakota kids can play, and they're recruiting the same kids that SDSU, USD are.
Well, think about this run for SDSU of quarterbacks outside of Gronowski. Ryan Berry, Austin Sumner, Taryn Christian, Chase Mason. What do they all have in common? 605 area codes.
Yeah.
1st and 10 Jacks at their own 36. Mason just crumbles to the ground after the fake of the handoff because Jalen McLaughlin, the sophomore out of Las Vegas, was in the backfield to meet him for the sack.
Yeah, and he shot a gap there. It looked like he might have grabbed Chase's face mask when he went by him. Yeah, but it was kind of unintentional there.
Well, what you said, he threw his hands up right away. Which,
I mean, that right away makes it, hey, yeah, you're guilty.
Draws attention to you, doesn't it? So 2nd and long for the Jacks. 2 receivers either side. Sacramento State has 7 men at the line. They come with 5. The toss to Bullock, who makes the catch, slips a tackle, and reaches the 42-yard line. Caleb Higgins, the 5th-year senior safety out of Austin, Texas, on the stop.
Yeah, look at the blitz is coming right at him there. They can't block it. They got more defenders coming than blockers. He's got to get rid of it. He goes to his hot read. That's a really good play by Chase Mason there.
Mason is 16 of 21 tonight, and one of those was an intentional throwaway.
Yeah, and one of his knocks that I talked to Coach Eisenes quite a bit about, sometimes his arm is too powerful, and it's hard to catch that. And he's done a great job tonight with touch on his throws.
3rd and 4, Mason. No escape there. He will get sacked in the backfield. Derek Houston, the team captain out of Rockland, California, arrives in the backfield and throws Mason to the turf to force an SDSU punt.
Yeah, no escape, but also nowhere to go with the ball. They manned up the SDSU receivers, and he had no one open.
So this will be the first time that Max Pelham will punt tonight. And it comes near the midway point of the third quarter. That, by the way, the 5th Sacramento State sack of the night, as you saw on your screen. The Hornets have been feisty in the backfield against Mason and company tonight.
Yeah, you still see some fire and passion. I mean, they're out there, they're playing hard.
Flag down.
Offense, number 41. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
So delay a game on South Dakota State. Pelham is the man who technically has to draw the penalty, but it's no doubt on the team. And now Jordan Anderson, the redshirt freshman out of Inglewood, California, stands back at his own 25. Pelham, who had 1 punt last year, his only one at South Dakota State. Transfer from Minnesota State Mankato, where he was a 2-year starting punter. He got a lot of hang time on this one. Anderson, a fair catch in traffic around his own 27-yard line. 44-yard punt. And with 8:19 to go in the third quarter on the Integra Cooperative scoreboard, number 3 South Dakota State leads 15th ranked Sac State 17-3. 17-3 South Dakota State leading Sacramento State. There's a look at Julius Loffridge, 106 yards on the ground on 13 carries tonight. He entered tonight as the leader among FCS running backs in career rushing yards, 3,122. The man who's number 2 on that list is Sacramento State's Jamar Curtis, who hasn't had many opportunities, but you've been very impressed in what you've seen out of Loffridge so far tonight.
Well, and carrying the tradition, which is very high for running back at South Dakota State. I mean, there have been some very, very good ones that have come through here, and it's good to see him carrying that tradition on.
Jaden Rashada, jet sweep to Tim Connerly. First time he touches the football, and he gains a couple. Jaden Oliver brings down the grad student out of New Orleans, who they call Flash, after a gain of 2.
And I'll tell you, Tyler, the day of the big physical linebackers, you know, that 6'2", 250-pound linebacker are gone. Those are like dinosaurs. You want that 6'2", 215-pounder that can fly from sideline to sideline. That's what you see now.
After this play, I want to ask you a question. The handoff and a gain of a couple for Curtis. It'll be 3rd down. Brian Bergstrom talked about that. When we go nickel, when we go dime, we're just subbing out linebackers and bringing defensive backs in. And honestly, there's not a lot of difference in them anymore.
Well, it's really how Tucker Large broke into the lineup. There were so many injuries that year. He was playing outside linebacker. And what you do is you protect them with your D-line. You always keep them moving, and you keep that offense guessing to where you don't know where they're going to be.
2 of 9 on 3rd down is the tally for Sacramento State. The Hornets need 6. Rashada talking with Dean Abdullah, the center, and as that occurred, there was movement and a flag. And we'll see if it is against the Hornets. It appears that it will be.
Ball start. Offense, number 72.
The left tackle, Sawyer Hayes.
3rd down.
Yeah, he was rocking out of that, and then everyone on the defense pointed him out.
Abdullah turned, and we mentioned it. He was talking to Rashada, the center, and as he did, I don't know if Hayes saw the flicker out of the corner of his eye or what, but he moved, and not a lot you can do to hide 6'6", 295 when you start to go. 3rd and long. It's a draw, and breaking one tackle and diving forward is Curtis. It'll be Van Tol credited for the stop after a gain of a couple.
Yeah, and then they're guessing that SDSU is going to be back in a zone coverage there, but they blitz this time.
He's brought down by number 28. It's 4th and 9.
So Cal McGuff, 3 punts, a 45-yard average.
Back to punt for the Hornets.
He stands back inside of his 15. And Isaiah Garcia Castaneda, transfer from Nebraska. Sac State has 65 Californians on its roster. The Jacks have a handful. He has 1. McGuff, that rugby-style kick. It'll bounce at the 30 and trickle its way inside the 25. So McGuff for a punt of 47, and it's 17-3 Jacks late in the third.
This game on Midcoast Sports is presented by Farmers Union Insurance. Simply different.
There's a look at the crowd of 19,163 on hand here tonight. And the student section of the band forcing our camera to shake a little bit as you look at things. The joint is jumping here tonight for the season opener. Chase Mason has been very efficient, and the Jackrabbits with 322 yards to Sac State's 77, Curtis Riggs.
Yeah, and honestly, the way they've been offensively, I'm surprised they have 77 yards. Jack's defense has been dominant.
First time for James Basinger with the handoff. He is a freshman out of Littleton, Colorado. He signed in December. Despite the coaching change, he maintained his commitment. First team All-Colorado as a senior in high school. Kind of a late bloomer, and the coaching staff very excited about him.
Yeah, I know they spoke highly of him, and they felt like it really contributed to some solid depth with their running back position.
And of course, part of that, the passing of Nate White over the summer, which directly impacted how deep the Jacks could go at running back. 15 of White's family members here. This is a very special night for them. Handoff to Garcia Castaneda on the wide receiver sweep to the 37-yard line, and he'll pick up about 8. Jacks have done that multiple times tonight with success.
Yeah, and they leave the defensive end. You see there's one blocker or one defender with no one. That's that. They just expect him to naturally take himself out of the play. The ball carrier will be by him before he even knows it.
You like seeing Mason under center?
I do. I think it's a great mix. I think you're not near as predictable what you're doing offensively.
Jackrabbits at their own 37, a 1st and 10. Jacks have had 7 different men run the football here tonight as Basinger takes another handoff. And he gets ridden down awkwardly after a 3-yard gain by Derek Houston, the inside linebacker.
It looked like that hip tackle that they're trying to get away from. Yeah, that's exactly it. Oh.
Basinger right back up, though.
Yeah, thankfully.
Jackrabbits 143 rushing yards tonight. Sacramento State just 9. The motion man, the tight end, Grayton Gannon. Mason throws it left side, lofted Ogroski in space, trying to run through the defender who's attempting to pluck the ball away. Ricky Lee, the third, the corner. They sort of dance their way to the 45. It's 3rd and short.
Yeah, and he really had a hold of it. Now, Chase really snaps that thing out there, but you still got to get it in front of the receiver. When he has to spin around like that, that gives the defender time to get there and make the tackle.
I was not a football player, but you football players talk about the receivers sometimes having crosses on your chest from how hard that ball gets thrown. There's a lot of those when Mason's tossing it around.
Yeah, that's no kidding. You see a lot of them catching with their chest rather than with their hands because they're afraid it'll ricochet off.
Here's 3rd and 2. Mason on the keeper, leaning forward, and we need to see. Yes, they're going to give him the first down. It helps to be 6'4" in those situations.
Yeah, and about 230 pounds, somewhere in there. And I think this is the short yardage package that a lot of people are accustomed to seeing.
Mason is such a talented lifter of weights, they actually had to cap him because he was lifting closer when an offensive lineman would lift, and you need a little more dexterity in that quarterback position.
Yeah, and you want some flexibility, too, in those shoulders.
Ogroski motions from right to left. Loffridge back in at running back. He'll take the handoff. And that's the first time he hasn't gained a yard on a carry tonight. That's no gain back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and Houston didn't make the tackle, but he actually made the tackle. He did a good job making the ball carrier cut back inside. Well, looks like we got a cramp here.
And while we see the athletic training staff of SDSU on the field and Sanford Health's Dr. Chad Kurtenbach, here's a reminder to stay in the action thanks to our friends at Sanford Health.
Building a career at Sanford Health is about even more than great pay and comprehensive benefits. It's also about doing good every day. Join us to start a career with purpose. Because no matter what you do here, you'll be changing lives.
Chase Mason, 11 of his last 13 through the air for 103 yards. And we had talked about this going in, Curtis. You're going to see him develop as a quarterback, and we certainly have so far tonight.
Without a doubt. I think you and I have talked about his decision-making has been outstanding. It's the timing that's been kind of the issue. His accuracy, though, has been very good. And like I say, with decision-making, where he's going with the ball, he's made a lot of really good choices.
The cramp being worked out here on the field. There's a look at Mason. Of course, see that decal with the number 3 on it in honor of Nate White. And last play, that's actually the motto that came from John Stiglmeyer, the longtime head football coach at South Dakota State, who was walking around earlier today. And I asked him if he was ready for the game, and he goes, yeah, I don't do anything. It's easy now.
I give him so much credit because I always say, you know, when most coaches leave, they turn over maybe a Honda Civic to the next coach. He turned over a Cadillac. I mean, the team that was coming back was ready for a state or a national championship again, and he was willing to say, hey, Jimmy, go out there and win another one.
So Quentin Christensen, the team captain, second-year starter at left tackle, he's the one that left the game. So the Jackrabbits will shift things around. Kenyon Bigbow is now moved to left tackle. As Mason fakes the pass to the right, it wasn't there. He simply had to try to run. And a host of Hornets led by Miles Bailey, the fourth-year junior out of California, who actually played here a year ago for Murray State, in on the tackle.
And I think Chase is going to find out on a screen pass if the timing's off. Running's usually not a good idea because they're not blocking the defensive line. And that's what happened there. The D-line comes through because all the linemen vacated, and you see why all Sac State guys are there.
A lot of white jerseys in the backfield there as the Jackrabbits looking at 3rd and long. Play clock inside at 10. Jacks are still in the huddle. They're going to have to burn a timeout here. Play clock is at 2. Nobody realized it on the sideline. Jackson tried to get the timeout before it got to 0, and he just did. He looked up at the play clock and saw it was at 1 and started screaming and just did get it in under the gun to avoid a 5-yard penalty. And that's one of those things, too, as a first-game head coach, right?
Right. Usually you have an assistant that's assigned, hey, we better not get a delay game. Your job is to make sure you keep an eye on that and let us know on the headset right away if we need to call a timeout.
And when Dan Jackson built this staff, there's a lot of youth on his staff, but the 2 coordinators, Eric Eidsness, Brian Bergstrom, individuals whom have been head coaches at the Division II level, both have been coordinators here previously. And what a unique way to put a staff together. You put 2 veterans in charge of those respective units.
Unbelievable. And you know, Eric Eidsness was offensive coordinator at Northern Illinois, and wanting to come back and be a part of Dan's staff, you commend him for, it says a lot for Dan too, that they're willing to come back and do that.
So this is 3rd and 13. The Jackrabbits tonight 4 out of 10 on 3rd downs. Mason, pass incomplete. And the Jacks will have to punt. Sacramento State defensively has given up some yards, but they have made it tough on the Jackrabbits tonight.
Yeah, and you can see that's one of those, he was kind of fading off as he was throwing there rather than stepping into that window where he wants to throw, because he has the arm to get it there. It's just he wants to throw on time and throw to that spot. He kind of fell back a little bit. That's what pulled that ball out of bounds.
Pelham's first punt tonight was 38 yards. There's Jordan Anderson waiting on it. Good hang time again. Anderson lets it go past him, and this will go out of bounds right about the 10-yard line. They'll call it the 11 officially. We'll call it 44 yards on the punt, and Sac State will start deep in its own territory.
Yeah, that's 2 outstanding punts that we've seen with excellent hang time.
So that's Brennan Marion again, wearing the cowboy hat. He was an assistant at Texas, and he noticed a guy on the sidelines wearing the cowboy hat. Perhaps you've heard of him. His name is Matthew McConaughey. And he said, you know, I might like that look. So he started wearing a cowboy hat around. And now we didn't know that he would actually wear it over the cowboy hat. But kudos to him for making a statement.
Well, when you're the head coach, you can do what you want there.
Rashada on the rollout. Throws low and incomplete in the direction of Jordan Anderson.
Oof. That is not a good throw or effort even. The oof is more to the effort or lack of effort on that throw. I mean, it was very lazy. You can see their coaches are not happy with that.
Rashada.
I mean, just watch him here. Yeah, he's just throwing, fading back instead of getting it out there to his receiver, who was wide open.
Rashada is 7 out of 17 tonight. We were told we might see Cardell Williams tonight. He came in for that 1 4th down play that failed. That's all we've seen of him. Rashada on 2nd down, the handoff, and Henderson running to the right across the 15 to the 16-yard line. Damian Henderson the second, and a flag came down at the end of the play.
Yeah, we're going to see a holding call here. Yeah, and I think maybe with Williams, it's because they're behind. I mean, he's a great dynamic runner, but he too played at the FBS level.
Holding. Offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty for a spotted foul. 2nd down.
It's Jose Soto. Yeah, you talk about Williams. He's started 4 games at Tulsa, played 3 years there at the alma mater of Brennan Marion. In fact, Marion was a young man at the time, 31.9 yards per reception, set an FBS record for Gus Malzahn at Tulsa. So there's no question Marion has a ton of offensive knowledge, then created this go-go offense. And the Hornets in front of the Jackrabbit student section on 2nd and long. Rashada from his own end zone, nearly intercepted, and what a job by Jamar Curtis to hang on. What a running back made the grab.
Yeah, what a catch. And, you know, to think he's 5'9". That's a little target they're throwing that into, and he's able to get that, just avoiding the interception, but still taking a hit.
Jalen Lee made the big hit. 3rd down for the Hornets and close to 5. Sac State just 2 out of 9 on 3rd down. 2 backs to Rashada's right. Jacks bring 4. Rashada, he'll try to run. And it's Lee along with McShane that bring him down after maybe a yard. And in the final minute of the 3rd quarter, Sacramento State facing a 4th down and likely a punting situation, although the offense does remain on the field.
I think the way your defense is playing, you got to punt here.
Well, the punt team's lined up, of course, on the sidelines, but they haven't come out, and now they do with 17 on the play clock.
You know, it could be, too, you talked about this earlier, a smaller pack, because with the go-go offense, I haven't seen anything that would be anything different than other offenses, but that smaller package because they have so many new players.
And the Hornets will not get this snap off. They waited so long to decide what they were going to do, they couldn't get the punt team on the field. One of the Hornet assistants was asking for the play clock to be reset, but you don't get that because of a late decision. You get that because of some other scenario.
Yeah, it doesn't change once you take your special teams unit out there.
I suppose it can't hurt to ask, though.
Yeah.
So from his own end zone, McGuff, 4 punts, an average of nearly 46. The Australian rolling to the right. It's as much height as he's gotten on a punt tonight, and Garcia Castaneda signals for and makes the fair catch at his own 39-yard line, a 45-yard punt.
It's a really good job catching that, too, because if he doesn't, that ball's going to roll all the way to the goal line. He does a nice job with that soccer-style kick that's turning over.
He's been remarkably consistent, Curtis. 47, 44, 44, 48, 45. Those are his 5 punts tonight.
Yeah, he's done a very good job, and he has that running style kick. And you said earlier he could punt with both legs.
I was told he could also punt with his left leg, although he is predominantly a righty.
That's like a show and tell thing that you make up. That's not real.
Well, if it's show and tell, you have to show it, right?
No, you just go out with your right leg, and everyone's so impressed because he's so good at that. I can do it with my left, too.
Mason with Julius Lafridge behind him as the Jacks take over at their own 39. Mason will take a shot down the left sideline, and the pass is incomplete. Ricky Lee, the third, the coverage on Graham Goring, and that brings us to the end of the 3rd quarter on the Integra Cooperative scoreboard. South Dakota State a 17-3 lead over Sacramento State. Briggs and our entire Midco Sports crew, I'm Tyler Merriam. South Dakota State with a pair of second quarter touchdowns, a 17-3 lead. The Jacks have dominated this game in total yardage, but only 17 points and 5 red zone trips has kept the visitors in the contest. The Jackrabbits trying to extend the longest active home winning streak in the FCS. They have won 29 consecutive games in this facility.
Yeah, and it wasn't always like that. And we saw that reign of terror for a long time up north, and you know, when they were able to overcome that hump up there, they were able to then bring that winning streak down here.
From the 39, 2nd and 10, Mason will keep, and he'll stay on his feet, tried to tightrope the near boundary, and they will mark him out at the 46, so that's a pickup of 7, and it sets up a 3rd down.
Well, and a more manageable 3rd down, and one thing, Tyler, this second half, that's the stats are showing that are concerning. The Jacks are 4 of 11 now on 3rd down, and a lot of those incomplete or not getting those 3rd downs have been the second half.
Again, they didn't punt in the first half.
No.
3 wides right, tight left, and then Basinger, freshman out of Littleton, Colorado, the back to Chase Mason's right. Sac State 4-down lineman. Here is Basinger, and he will spin his way across midfield and pick up the 1st down to the Hornet 49-yard line. That's a gain of 5.
For a freshman, he does an excellent job of zero hesitation. Watch. Boom, right there. There he goes. He's not wasting any steps. You don't see any dancing. For a freshman, that's a lot of times they try to gauge the speed of the game and they try to react rather than dictating where he's going.
It's a good John Madden right there.
Yeah.
I was looking for tough Atkinson acting after that.
Give me a screen to start scribbling all over. Yeah.
Don't give Carolyn any ideas. It's 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line of the Hornets. Basinger running right. And he will end up at the 46 after a gain of close to 3.
Well, and Papke tried to get to Derek Houston, and Houston just ran right by him. Houston is very active, you know, the captain on that defense.
Quentin Christensen was not in on the final play of the 3rd quarter. He is back in as the left tackle here. Remember, he had some cramping issues late in the 3rd.
Christensen, too, is a player that has very high potential.
Oh, yeah.
And is definitely being sought after by a lot of NFL scouts.
Who are trying to figure out where Wessington Springs is. So 2nd down and 7. And because of the substitution the Jacks made late, they had to wait.
First and a half.
So what's interesting there is the officials were over the ball. They weren't going to let the Jacks snap it because Sac State still had to have time to sub, but the Hornets were so confused, even with only 3 on the play clock, they still called a timeout they might not have needed to.
Yeah, they really might not. You saw the coaches, though. I don't think they saw the official over the ball because they were down by the 40-yard line and saw the confusion of the substitution, so they just ran in, called timeout, and then showed their frustration afterwards.
What do you do if you're Eric Eidsness here trying to kickstart this Jackrabbit offense again?
You just got to get back in rhythm. That's all. I mean, yeah, you want to continue to run the ball, but you definitely want to get Chase to where he feels comfortable with some pocket passes, and then even more so those athletic get out of the pocket to where he has the option to throw or run.
Always good to see the youngins here. We saw some of the boys with their shirts off a moment ago. Relatives of yours, no doubt.
Wessington Springs. Yeah.
3 wides left on 2nd and 7. Blitz is on. Basinger. And he gets ridden down after about a 4-yard gain. Dylan Hampston with the stop. Santa Clarita, California native. 3rd down and 3.
I love it. I mean, he sees the hole, and you see him accelerate. He doesn't just try to glide and get there. He sees the opening. He's like, I got to get there, and really turns it on just to get even a couple yards, though.
Jackrabbits a 2-1 advantage in time of possession. They have outgained Sacramento State 357-91 so far. Third down and 3. Loffridge back in as the tailback. He will take the handoff and he will move the sticks inside the 39 to the 38. 4 yards for Julius Loffridge, 110 on 15 carries.
Yeah, and that's confidence in your O-line. It's also saying that if we get a yard or two, we're going to go for it on 4th down.
Coming up on the 12-minute mark of this 4th quarter. And the Jackrabbits a 2-score lead. Trying to add to it and potentially deal a knockout blow to this heavily hyped team of Hornets with over 70 newcomers. Early movement there will play on as Lafferidge takes the handoff, and he's got room around the right edge inside the 30, and he's out of bounds at the Sacramento State 27 for 11 more yards.
Yeah, Lafferidge, when he gets out there, he just glides when he's running there. You see, he's just going to get more and more comfortable.
Defense, number 90. Got penalties declined. Result of the play. It's a first down.
I thought they'd blow that dead, but here's the glider, Curtis.
Well, it seemed like Macy did contact someone, but he must not have. But yeah, you just see like he's not running as hard as everyone else there, but accumulating yards.
Reminds me a little of Zenner in the fact that it doesn't look like he's going 1,000 miles an hour, but he just keeps going forward, and he's hard to bring down. Bullock on the screen. Dances his way to the 25-yard line for a couple.
Yeah, it shows the importance of this play. Chase makes a great throw. Bullock, though, you can't dance. And then Goring's got it. He's got to dictate that defensive back one way or the other so Bullock knows where to go. Goring just kind of got stalemated, and Bullock didn't know where to go with it.
There's Julius Lafferidge's number tonight. That is the first time the Jacks have had a running back reach the 100-yard mark in his career debut since Kyle Manette at Iowa State in 2008. You're talking about some pretty good backs who have had great careers, but not a debut like Julius Lafferidge's.
Wow. And Manette did it against Iowa State.
Lafferidge for a couple more. Again, just falls forward, just keeps getting those extra yards. He picks up 3.
Oh, and it's not like he's getting a ton of carries. It's just his average is over 7.5 yards a carry. That's really contributed to that.
It's a big play here as we come up on the 10-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Nose of the ball at the 22. Jacks need a little less than 5 to keep this drive going.
It's 3rd and 5 for the Jacks.
They've had the ball for 5 minutes. Sammy Dressy, beg your pardon, that is Garcia Castaneda. Slot right. Wide right is Goring. Wide left is Ogroski. Mason looking to throw. Pump fake. Rolling right. In trouble now, and he will get sacked. Jason Oliver kept on coming. Initially was blocked by Lafferidge, but the fourth-year junior out of Bakersfield, California, who started his collegiate career at Colorado, ends up with the sack.
Yeah, and a good job by Sacramento State keeping him in the pocket. You can see he wants to take off and run. No one is open. And so this is the one where they're yelling, throw it away, throw it away. Well, he doesn't really have anywhere to throw it away because he's got people all around him. It's okay to eat that, take that sack sometimes.
Xavier Williams had to be helped off the field. Because of that, we have a break in the action with SDSU facing 4th down. Jackrabbits, a 17-3 lead over Sac State, facing 4th down. And look who's back. He was here at Jacks Bash 3 on Thursday. Mason McCormick and his fiancee Addison.
Yeah, getting ready for the NFL season. That all-time favorite right there. A great story. Playing JV football his junior year in high school. It was unbelievable. His maturation and the career he had.
Jackrabbits, after the sack, will settle for a field goal. And Stater, who made a 60-yarder last year against Briarcliff at Northwestern of Iowa, will attempt a 48-yard field goal. And this one is wide left, no good. So that sack pushes Stater back, and the Jackrabbits unable to get points.
Yeah, and the 3rd and 5 and longer this second half has been a nemesis for the Jack offense.
Sacramento State has struggled offensively, but has played admirably defensively and remains down just 14. To Brookings, and it's time for our Sanford Health Injury Report. Dr. Chad Kurtenbach, the SDSU team physician, and there are a couple of defensive linemen who are out who would be in the rotation, but this team is remarkably healthy right now, Curtis.
Knock on wood. I mean, that's always a fear. Well, when we talked to Coach Jackson the other night, he was just, I just want practice to be done because all we have is walkthrough left, and let's just get through this without something happening.
And they did not do two-a-days this year. They did some additional breaks during practice to try to keep guys fresher. And Jackson said, really, it's the freshest of any team I've ever coached after camp. Rashada going deep down the right side, and it is incomplete. Anderson, the closest man to it. Jalen Lee had the coverage for SDSU. Rashada now 8 out of 19 for 78 yards.
Yeah, and, you know, to his defense, sometimes, I mean, they're just sending guys vertical, and the receivers are double-teamed. I mean, there's really nowhere to go, but You know, I'm sure that the coaches that worked that deal out at Florida are probably thinking, yeah, it wasn't worth it. I mean, we made the right choice.
2nd down and 10. Rashada, quick toss to the right side to Tim Connerly, who makes a couple of nice moves, and he'll pick up a 1st down.
I'm surprised we don't see more of that. I mean, to alleviate some of that pressure on Rashada and to get the up-tempo play. I mean, get the ball out of his hands quick like that. It's difficult to defend, and nice job blocking by their tight end.
Connerly out of New Orleans, was at Lamar, Fresno City Community College, UNLV. This is 6th season of college ball. Well, I spent a decade as an undergrad. I can relate. Back to throw Rashada over the middle, and what a hit laid by Chase Van Tol on Jordan Anderson. 5-yard reception and a heck of a job by Anderson to hang on to the football.
And Anderson just runs right into him, right under the chin. Oof.
That's not necessarily a proper form tackle, but it certainly was effective.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing Anderson didn't put his head down as the ball as it was coming at him. Yeah, and what they're going to look at is the crown of the helmet. The crown of the helmet is what they're going to see. If he puts it down, then he could get ejected here.
Yeah, you're looking at a potential targeting here. That's what's being reviewed. Clive Townsend is in our replay booth.
Yeah, he even gears up as the hit's coming. And you know, people should understand that that's not to help the ball carrier. The reason this is dangerous and being looked at and called is to protect Van Tol. You know, you drop that head down and then take that hit and jar your neck. Huge risk of injury there.
And one of the layers of targeting is leading with the crown of the helmet while making forcible contact, or making forcible contact to the head or neck area of a defenseless opponent with the helmet, shoulder, arm, or hand as well. But this looks like, again, the crown of the helmet to the face mask.
Yeah, it's 100% head. I mean, there's nothing else he hits him with.
After review, created a foul for personal foul, targeting defense number 28. That 15-yard penalty added to the end of the catch. Number 28 has been disqualified.
And that not only significant in this game, but remember that also means Van Tol will have to miss the first half of next Saturday's road tilt at Montana State as well, one of the Jackrabbits starting linebackers.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm really shocked they've never come back to look at, the ejecting of the players. There's no ill intent. You know, I don't know, maybe just the rest of this game, but to sit out some of the next game is tough.
Rashada throwing into triple coverage, and the pass is incomplete for Jordan Anderson.
Yeah, and they went max protection. I mean, he had one guy deep and one guy underneath, and the two were covered.
So look at that Jackrabbit sideline, trying to win their 30th in a row here at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium.
Yeah, and a nice pocket, but the reason he has a nice pocket is they kept 8 guys in the block and only 2 guys downfield.
The Hornets just 106 yards through 3.5 quarters tonight. Rashada the give to Hammond Jr. And he will drag Kobe Claiborne, which is not easy to do, to the 36-yard line for a gain of 4. Again, Sac State only has 17 rushing yards tonight on 22 attempts.
Yeah, you feel like they've continually tried. It's just they also haven't gotten a lot of first downs, and so that plays a part in that too.
When you're playing behind the sticks, it's awfully hard to run the football a lot. Big 3rd down. Hornets just 2 of 10 on the money now. 3 wides for the 3rd-year sophomore Jaden Rashada. Has a man. And it's incomplete. Unable to hang on to it was Tim Connerly. Boy, he had 6 in the south end zone.
Yeah, this is a really good play. They roll to the right, but the entire time he is going the post route across the field, and he sets up the defensive back very well and has all that field, and it's a very catchable ball. You got to complete that play there.
Looked like he had it, and then when he hit the ground, he couldn't maintain it.
Yeah, and it was a little behind. He was struggling to get his hips flipped, But yeah, that's definitely one you got to bring in, especially at this critical moment of the game too.
So now 4th down and 6. The crowd making noise. 4 men come. Rashada to the near side, diving, trying to make the catch and unable to do so. The receiver on the near side in Ajon Bryant. And Sac State goes over on downs.
Yeah, that was a long throw for Rashada. You know, you see him try to gear up, but keeps his arm kind of low, and yep, it skips into the receiver's chest.
17-3, South Dakota State the lead over Sacramento State on the Integra Cooperative scoreboard. Jackrabbits with a 17-3 lead, midway point of this 4th quarter. We talked earlier about SDSU having the longest active win streak in the FCS. You go to all levels of football and where it ranks, and you see a couple are in the 30s. Jack's trying to get to 30 here tonight.
Yeah, and it's just that's when you start to talk about dynasties, when you're having that reign. And you always say, hey, win all our home games, and if we're going to lose, let's make it tough ones on the road.
Julius Lawfridge with 124 yards, the running back to the right of Chase Mason as the Jacks begin at their own 36. Lawfridge looking for room. Flag comes into the fray as he reaches the 38.
Julius Lawfridge to carry, gain of 2 on the play, penalty marker down.
I would expect we're going to see a hold in the trenches there.
Holding. Offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
It's Kenyon Bigbo, member of the Comanche and Kiowa tribes out of the state of Oklahoma. Yeah, I would say that's a hold.
I would say that's a terrible call. The effort of the defensive lineman, he just stands there. Right? If he's trying to fight through it and we're preventing him fighting through it, for sure. But if the guy's not going to give the effort to try to keep playing, then don't give him a gift.
Spoken like an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
On 1st and long, here is Lawfridge. Gets a run down from behind, although he doesn't stop going. It's remarkable. Ends up with about a yard. Josh Cacciola, the veteran out of Houston, Texas, who actually didn't play football till his senior year of high school, makes the stop after a yard.
You can see now that, you know, they're trying to run some clock here, use some clock. Let's see if we can, you know, get things going. It was good to see Jack Smith, I saw just come in, the freshman from Lincoln High School.
He almost pulled his red shirt a year ago. Instead did it with Ogroski. Smith had a couple of nice plays on special teams tonight as well. 2nd and long for the Jacks. And just when you start to hype somebody up, Curtis.
Yeah. He's trying to get a good advantage here.
Also, offense, number 19. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Smith, 3,242 receiving yards during his high school days. Still holds 12 state receiving records.
Yeah, he had a great career. Really good teams he played on. You know, he was kind of that tweener of Division II FCS, and SDSU, you know, said we'd love to have him, and they're really happy they got him in here to play football for him.
It's 5 penalties for 50 yards against SDSU all in this half. Mason will take off and run to the 30, to the 35, and then he took a big pop out of bounds. The Jackrabbits are asking for a flag, but the officials are deeming that he was still in bounds when he got knocked out at the 38.
Yeah, it did be good replay here. You also see Jack Smith get a big block for him. Right there. Yeah, that's definitely out of bounds. He had 2 feet out.
There's another look.
Yeah, you'll see it here. That's tough. I mean, he's close. You know, he's really close to that sideline, and the way Chase runs, I mean, you have to consider him a runner at that moment, and he wasn't clearly out of bounds.
Jacks were late to break the huddle. The play clock at 2. They just do get the snap off. Mason will throw it right side, incomplete.
Yeah, and you will have a roughing the passer here. Fell at his legs, and it looks like we have one on the sideline too.
Ogroski and Ricky Lee III, the 2 men who wear number 1, were engaged where the pass went over his head, and Mason is a little gimpy after taking that low hit as well.
And these are the scary ones where they kind of fall right into lower leg of the quarterback as he's standing there planning to throw. I think it was Hagan where the DN kind of turned the corner on him and he kind of threw him down.
Pass interference. Defense, number 1. That penalty is declined. Personal foul. Roughing the quarterback. Low hit on the quarterback. Number 18 of the defense. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Fatu Puloka.
It's so tough because you're working so hard to get by that big offensive tackle, and that's momentum has taken you that way. But I mean, you got to think of the safety first.
So 5:25 left. The Jacks a 2-score lead and on the move. Loffridge ran into his own man, then tried to keep going and got grabbed from behind by Hampston, who's had a busy day today from that right edge position.
Sacramento State's defense has had a very good second half. You see even their run game, they're starting to get penetration into the backfield. The zone game's struggling a little bit for SDSU. They're playing hard. They're winning a lot of third downs, which you always want your defense to do.
Yeah, the combination of Sac State's defense and some missed opportunities by SDSU has kept the Hornets in this game.
Yeah, I don't think anyone expected this score, especially after what they saw the first half.
Ogroski, the motion man. It's Loffridge running left, and he's got daylight to the 30. Left sideline, and he's pushed out of bounds near the 15-yard line of Sacramento State.
Yeah, blocked very well. And this time, Coach Eisner said, we're not going to run side to side. This time, we're going to run downhill. We're going straight at him here. This was just straight give downhill, and they could just man block this and just adding more yards on to the first debut for Loffridge.
32 on that carry. Second time he's had a rush of at least 30 yards on the night. He now has 156 on 20 attempts. The Jacks are inside the Agtegra Cooperative red zone. Loffridge again got upended, but somehow didn't let himself go to the turf and reaches the 13-yard line. He has tremendous balance.
That's one though where you want to get down because he's being held and trying to spin away, but still being. That's when you're open to someone else coming in and giving you another shot when you can't protect yourself.
It's hard as a running back though, isn't it? Because you want to stay on your feet.
Yeah. So right here though, he's not getting away now. Instead of fight right there, go ahead and get down.
Loffridge with 6 carries of at least 10 yards tonight. The Jacks are just bleeding this clock. They break the huddle with 8 to snap it.
I got 2 in.
And SDSU no choice but to take a timeout. They couldn't get settled. Jackrabbits are going to end this game with a 2-1 advantage in time of possession. A total yardage advantage likely in the neighborhood of 4-1.
Well, and Coach Jackson's thinking, and Coach Eisnes is, let's finish this with a touchdown. Let's get a touchdown. It's been a good drive. Let's cap it off with a touchdown going in to the end of the game with some confidence here.
$19,163 on hand for this one. The Jackrabbits with a big lead here, and of course when this thing wraps up we'll have a conversation with Dan Jackson, the head coach of South Dakota State. We'll try to get Julius Loffridge as well. Highlights and Curtis Riggs' thoughts on how this one played out, the season opener for two very talented teams. Ogroski on the sweep inside the 10 to the 9.
The ball carriers, number 1, Lofton Ogroski. Gain of 4 on the play.
You show that play and you run it more and more for this game, and then next week you see something off of that, a quick play action pass or something that is phase 2 of that concept.
You're always thinking of the next one, right? How you can set everything up.
Because teams put so much time and work into the details in film. Well, let's bait them a little bit here. Let's give them something that they think they're going to stop when we set them up for it.
Empty set until Loffridge realigns to Mason's right. Play clock at 5. And Loffridge cannot get away. Derek Houston, one of the first men there. And the Hornets will take a timeout.
I don't know if anyone's... Papke decided to take his defender all the way out of bounds. Oscar Moore went for a ride. This reminded me of Mason McCormick. I mean, he took him all the way to the chains out of bounds. You love seeing that.
Pepke, a second-generation Jackrabbit. His dad, Carl, a team captain as a linebacker back in 1993 for the Jackrabbits.
Sac State, though, that zone stretch game has done a much better job of slowing that down.
So with 2:30 to play, Jacks have a 4th down and about 4. Kick a field goal, it's a 3-score game. You just take the points here?
I mean, I would. I want my kicker getting more kicks, too. But I'm also disappointed that we didn't finish this off with a touchdown.
Stater hit from 22 early on, then he's missed from 37 and 48.
Yeah, and they do have other kickers, but they've had some injuries with that position, and Coach Jackson was able to talk him into coming out.
So this from 27. And Stater's kick is right down the middle. So it's a 3-score game. And the Jackrabbits trying to pick up their 30th consecutive win here at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium. And we talked about the positivity of the offense had they been able to finish in the end zone. That is a positive move for Stater after missing a couple to end on a good note.
For sure, and it gives Coach Jackson, who's got a lot of special teams background, to a gauge of what's his distance, where is he automatic, where does it start to get a little more questionable, and then in future games he has a better idea of that.
Remember, Sacramento State will turn around and visit Nevada next week of the FBS. The Jacks head to Montana State. You can see that game on Midco Sports 2 on Saturday night. It's a 7 o'clock Central Time kick.
And that place will be rocking.
Oh, yeah. That is a fun place to be. Bozeman's a great college town, just like Brookings, and they'll be out in full force for the opener. And Montana State losing to an FBS foe earlier on today, but that'll be a challenge, and Sacramento State knows all about that, being in the Big Sky, what Montana State brings to the table. Rodney Hammond Jr. waiting at the goal line. And he lets it land in the checkerboard. We talked about South Dakota State being at Montana State next week. Then the Jacks will have 2 home games in the non-conference with a bye week in between those. Drake and Mercyhurst will be in town. And then the gauntlet of the Missouri Valley Football Conference begins. A couple of long trips early there, including SDSU's first visit to Murray, Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, the schedule is what it is for the Missouri Valley. I mean, you're going to have those ups and downs. Montana State game, though, is like a Missouri Valley game. That's the style of football they play. You know, they lost in the championship. Their coach was actually rumored to go to Washington State before Coach Rogers was, too.
Jaden Rashada will tuck and run, and he'll dive out across the 30 to the 32-yard line. So Rashada for close to 7.
Now they too lost their dynamic quarterback, Montana State.
Tommy Millar.
Yeah, who was just tremendous playmaker for Montana State.
Rashada, deep ball, left sideline, and it's incomplete.
SDSU corners have done an excellent job not getting those gimme pass interference calls on when you just throw those deep balls up for your receiver to have a shot.
It was Taylor on that coverage. Oliver had the interception earlier.
Should be an asterisk by that.
Will be in the film room.
I can't wait to meet him.
5 wides on 3rd down and 4. Rashada's throw is incomplete. Kobe Bretz, the athletic safety, jumped into the fray, trying to deny Jordan Anderson of the football. And it'll be 4th down for Sacramento State after the 2-minute timeout. 20-3, SDSU the lead on the Agtegra Cooperative scoreboard.
This game on Midcoast Sports is presented by South Dakota State University. Build a better future with South Dakota State University. And by Peterson Farms Seed.
Last chance for the Hornets, down 17 with 1:57 to play. If there's any gasp, they have to convert here on 4th and 4 from their own 31. Hammond Jr. vacates the backfield for Jaden Rashada. Only 3 Jackrabbits come. Rashada wants to run, and he'll get helicoptered to the turf. There is a Jackrabbit, Wolf Cale Holston, who went down. He and Bretts tag teamed on the stop, and Wolf Cale Holston went down immediately.
With the tackle for South Dakota State. And that'll be a turnover on downs.
You always hate to say this, it didn't look that bad, but everything's relatively speaking.
And it might be a concussion. It looks like his head got jolted back a little bit there, but it's tough to try to guess. Yeah, they're looking at his neck.
Jackrabbit athletic training staff. It's Charlie Miller, who is on his knee to the left of Wolf Cale Holston, and Chad Kurtenbach, the team doctor, to the right. While they tend to him, we'll talk a little more about this Jackrabbit schedule that we looked at a little bit earlier, Curtis. And you look at who the Jacks have at home. Certainly Drake and Mercyhurst. That's a remade Northern Iowa team. And a lot of people have October 25th circled on their calendars.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the defending national champs coming in to play here. And everyone's excited about that. But the thing you cannot do in the Missouri Valley is mark one game and look past everyone else, because all the teams are, usually year in and year out very good. Yeah, they want North Dakota State, but you can't look past a Youngstown or Northern Iowa.
Well, and North Dakota currently has a 35-31 lead at Kansas State late in the 4th quarter. That's a ranked team in the FBS. UND has the ball as well. The Jacks are in Grand Forks to end the year, and that's always been a tough place to play for SDSU, to your point.
And to put 35 points up, still with time left, against Kansas State at Kansas State. I mean, they're doing something right. Coach Eric Schmidt, great guy, very good. He's going to do some great things there.
The fact that Aaron Wolf Cale Holston has a big smile on his face is certainly a step in the right direction. Young man out of Gilbert, Arizona. And they tell me he's very friendly, very jolly, and you get the sense of that as you watch him walk off the field.
Yeah, that was a big smile there.
Sac State does have one timeout. So the Jacks with their first string offense on the field. Handoff, and this is Begeman. Jacks have pieces of their first string offense with a few other bodies in there as well, including Sammy Dressy, Elijah Irvin.
That's their 3rd and final of the half. Should be a timeout.
The final timeout taken by Sacramento State. What have you been most impressed with tonight in Dan Jackson's head coaching debut for South Dakota State?
Oh, no sense of panic. And definitely as a head coach, don't show your frustration on the sideline too, because there's some frustrating things that have happened.
Sure.
I mean, as many fans will say, we should have dominated that game. Well, you won, but you made a lot of very correctable mistakes. And I think that's how he's looking at it too, is we made mistakes that we can fix. We have a good team here.
Well, again, positivity really oozes from both these sidelines. Both Marion and Jackson are guys that see the glass half full rather than half empty. Infectious energy is one way to describe both of these guys. Begeman again. Miles Bailey, the first man on the scene.
Well, and that's why when I talked to Coach Jackson, I came in and met with him. I knew right away guys are going to love him. When you talk to players that weren't quite sure what they were going to do and they met him and talked to him, it was resounding. Oh, I'm staying. I'm staying.
There are multiple examples of guys who have told me I had my car packed and I was 10, 15, 20 miles out of Brookings when my phone rang and Coach Jackson started talking to me and I felt drawn to come back. And that's a hard thing to do.
Well, and I guarantee Chase Mason and Quentin Christensen were getting a lot of calls probably. And when they talked to him, this is the place. Yeah, let's stay here.
Begeman on 3rd and long. Barely got back to the line of scrimmage. Deshaun Watts, a defensive tackle out of Fresno, California, on the tackle.
That whole portal, and when a coach leaves, it's like piranhas. I mean, I'm not kidding. There's blood in the water, and they don't care. I mean, they could be associated. It doesn't matter. I need players for my program. I'm sorry. I'm going to take what I need. And people are calling to come in, and, hey, you don't know who's coming in to take this job. It's just like Coach Eck at New Mexico. They were missing a coach for 17 days.
Yeah, he had his hands full down there when he took over the Lobo program. On 4th down, Begeman will reach the 30. It'll be an over on downs with just 7 seconds remaining. Sacramento State will fly back to the West Coast with a season opening loss, and the Jackrabbits will start 2025 in the Dan Jackson era 1-0. And what a couple of days for this stadium between the football game and the concert. Over 40,000 people in this facility in a 2-day stretch.
That is amazing. I mean, that is amazing. But the thing I can't wait to see the growth of South Dakota State. But I can't also, I'll keep track and go back and see this Sacramento State roster with 70 new players. How did they do with what they're going to be going through?
Perhaps the final play. Rashada's pass is caught. Across the 40 to the 44-yard line goes Damian Henderson, the second. And there it is. The Dan Jackson era begins with a 20-3 win for 3rd-ranked South Dakota State as the Jackrabbits defeat the 15th-ranked Hornets of Sacramento State. Jackson and Marion, a couple of heavily hyped first-year head coaches, exchange a handshake at midfield. And we invite you to stay tuned. Julius Loffridge and the head coach will join us to share their thoughts as SDSU off to a 1-0 start to 2025.
The Jackrabbit Post-Game Show, presented by Sanford Health. Here for all, here for good.
South Dakota State, a successful start to its season, a 20-3 win over Sacramento State in this heavily hyped season opener. A crowd of 19,000 turned out to watch the Precision Ag Bowl. We welcome you back into Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium alongside Curtis Riggs. I'm Tyler Merriam, and obviously a win important for South Dakota State to start things, Curtis. But more importantly is how this lays the foundation for the rest of the year. So what's your takeaway here in week 1 of Dan Jackson's squad?
Yeah, and coaches are going to say even a foundation going into week 2 because they all go game by game. But you're right. Looking at the foundation for the year, one, you know you got a great quarterback. He's good. You got a really good running back. And then you have a defense that you can hang your hat on. They are outstanding, especially as they add to that rotation on the D-line. You have a lot of guys that can fly around and create and help that offense as they battle through some of the kinks they're going through.
Let's take a look at some of our highlights of how this game played out here, brought to you by Avera Orthopedics. And as you see Chase Mason warming up to start the second half, it was harder to get the offense going in half number 2 for SDSU. Sac State ended this game with 7 quarterback sacks.
Yeah, and I thought second half they played a lot better. They must have struggled getting off the bus for that first half, because second half they were difficult, especially defensively.
There you see Chase Van Tol making an impact before he was later ejected because of a targeting call. This Jackrabbit offense, again, able to get going because of Julius Loffridge, 159 yards on the ground.
Yeah, and I think it was half and half. Half were really good runs by him, and the other half were well-blocked, well-designed plays by the offensive line and the scheme.
So South Dakota State a winner in the opener, 20-3. As you take a peek at some of the final numbers in this one, the Jackrabbits 240 rushing yards to Sacramento State's 24, 430 total yards for the yellow and blue. A dominant game statistically. And as we look at how this all played out, along with Curtis Riggs, I'm Tyler Merriam, and Dan Jackson, the head coach of the Jackrabbits, down on the field with us. Coach, a successful debut as head coach. How does it feel?
It feels good. We got a lot of getting better to do, but I'm proud of the guys for how they fought and how they played together. we played complementary football. That's what it takes to win games, and certainly there's going to be a ton for us to clean up moving forward.
Well, one of the things that Curtis and I talked about a lot was it wasn't a perfect game, but the way you handled some of those things and responded had to be a positive.
No game is perfect. I don't expect there to be a perfect game, so that's positive. But no, there's going to be a ton of things that are within our control, from finishing drives. I was proud of how our guys stepped up anytime there was adversity, and it felt like if they got a score, so momentum, it could have been a tight game, but we were in control the entire time.
Coach Chase Mason, give a grade on his performance tonight.
I've got to watch the film. You know, I'm not into grades that way. I'm proud of Chase for how he came out. I mean, I think he made the right decisions. There's going to be a ton. No different than a nose guard or a 3 technique. Chase is going to have plenty of things to work on. But I'm proud of how he handled the offense, controlled the offense, and I'm excited for him to get the first win as his starter.
Dan, one last thing before we let you go. The man standing next to you, we're going to talk to in a moment, Julius Loffridge. How impressive was he in his Jackrabbit debut?
Juice, I think Juice is going to tell you that he's got more in the tank too, but I was proud of him for coming out, being the workhorse for us, getting the dirty yards, and there's some big runs in there for Juice too, but when we needed him, he was able to find creases and get first downs. Really proud of him. I love Juice.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Tyler.
Dan Jackson making his head coaching debut. We'll talk to Julius Loffridge here in just a moment as we get his headset on. What impressed you about Loffridge tonight?
Well, the consistency. Good feel for what the offensive line was trying to do in front of him, where the holes were, the patience, and then when to stick his foot in the ground and get the yards.
All right, Julius Loffridge is throwing on the headset down on the field. And Julius, for starters, what was this moment like for you? Coming from Fordham to South Dakota State, what was the first game under the lights at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium like?
Definitely amazing, man. You know, fans showed out today. Defense played well, you know. Everyone's flying around on all cylinders. I had a really great time, and I'm really excited to go out there and get my first Jackrabbit win.
How impressive was the unit in front of you, that 605 Hogs that led the way for your 159 yards tonight?
Those boys blocked their tails off today, man. I'll tell you that. You know, everything I did today was, you know, because of them, and I'm very proud of what we did today, and I'm really excited to, you know, keep building on this throughout the rest of the season.
Are you tired?
No, you know, I feel like I didn't play my best, so I'm going to be my hardest critic. So next week, you know, I'll definitely be ready to roll.
How can you be better?
Ball security for sure, you know, and just winning one-on-ones. You know, I had a couple where I could have squeezed out there and made the O-line's job a little bit easier. I know they were a little tired. You know, I could have broke a couple out, so I'll do better next week.
Julius, congratulations. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Julius Loffridge and Dan Jackson joining us after the South Dakota State victory over Sacramento State. 20-3 is the final. And as we talk about this in conclusion here, Curtis, what's the biggest thing you take away from this one?
Well, it's a solid win against a good opponent, but a lot of fixable things, and especially going into a big game next week.
For Curtis Riggs and our entire Midco Sports crew, I'm Tyler Merriam. We hope you enjoyed the season opener. Don't forget Jackrabbit football at Montana State on Midco Sports 2 next Saturday night at 7 o'clock. From Brookings, I'm Tyler Merriam. Have a good night, everybody.